Cool. We are live and ready. All right, guys, welcome. 4 people? Ha! Hey, 4 viewers. Guys, welcome to Dragon Inc.'s first 24-hour poetry marathon. Clap for yourselves. Clap for the poetry. Yeah, clap for the fundraiser. And clap for whatever Andrew is eating, because it looks natural. All right. It's some beefsteak tomato. Anyway, it is almost 8:30. So in 10 minutes, we will be having Toledo poet Hunter Prey come up. Give it up for that. Yeah, I remember seeing Hunter Prey almost 4 years ago featured with Underground Queen. And I remembered him specifically. He did, I believe you had a poem about your little brother that you did, and it stuck with me since then. So, yeah, you know you're good if you can do a poem 3 years ago and still be like, I remember you did that poem about your little brother and you left and he called. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you know you're good for that. All right. Guys, I'm going to start the night off. And if anybody in here is my friend, you know that I am indecisive. So, I've written quite a few poems, and Autumn has heard them all. I have 4 poems I'd like to read you guys. I'll do a few. I'll do 2. All right, audience, you guys are gonna pick. Are we gonna read the high school anecdotes, how to make a rapist, the Tootsie women, or on loving a closeted bisexual man as an out gay man? It's too early. I think that Tootsie women is a little heavy. Yeah. The rapist? All right, the rapist. And that poem will forever be known as The Rapist. So I'm going to read you guys. This is I have experienced this. So this is on how to love a closeted bisexual man as an out gay man. It is my first successful list poem. On how to love a closeted bisexual man as an out gay man. 1, do not remind him of what you aren't. Only give him the parts of you that you own. Make promises loudly at nighttime. Cook every one of them in the heat of your torso and give them to him. When he doubts that they are done, write lies on 21 balloons and let them go. 2, you are a fortress. Your love is a dragon. He will be the knight that attempts to rescue your damsel in distress. You will win every time, but you may not get your knight back. 3, when you kiss him electric, massage his back and grab his flesh. Bite, yank, hard, fog every window he has. At these times, remind him of what you are. 4, you can adopt. 5, yes, fucking the surrogate to impregnate her is still cheating. No. 6, don't you even ask. 7, 8, stay out of the water. Your insecurities are sharks. Their teeth are sharp and crave the blood of your trust. At these times, remind yourself of what you are. Masturbate to the thoughts of you and him. Kiss a new part of his body every day. He will take all of you in this night. Make love like you are on fire, like you want to burn. You are the fire, baby. Breathe when he does not. Strip more naked than fear. Take his socks off. Keep the lights where they are the first time you walked into the room. You are the karma that he's been anticipating. You both deserve this. Hold him as if he is falling off of the edge of the world and you are a parachute. He will love the landing. 9, the morning he wakes up screaming for someone who will touch him like his mother. Do not be hurt. Wrap him in the softest parts of your flesh, even if you have none that has not been eaten. Even when your fists bleed, When your tongue sucker punches your teeth and you say what you never meant, watch the wind around him. It has a secret. Curse the trees for having curves. Scrunch the trains in your blood. You got to if you're to survive number 10. When he finally tells you he cheated, do not ask the first question that you think of. Pretend that the answer is the one that you want it to be, and show him all of the rage or forgiveness you've been hiding under your tongue. Grab a knife, cut a sandwich. Remind yourself that he did not belong to you anyway, that he has to come out of the closet to realize that there's a whole house on the other side. You are the whole house on the other side. You are the chicken, the road, and the cross. You stretch too much anyway. Shrug so hard that you mean it. Make your memory bulimic until you vomit his name. You have to survive instead of live sometimes when 11 doesn't come. Send a polite text message breaking it off. Leave the most important pieces of you in him. They are only pieces after all. Melt his phone number. Throw all of your feelings for him on top of your favorite movie to watch together and light a match. Burn it in the hardest places of you. 12. Tell her that the baby is cute in the comment section, that it has your eyes. When her questions sound like she's trying to correct you, don't you mean his father's eyes? Tell her that's what you said. Realize, please, that none of you did anything wrong, and listen to the stitches melt off of your heart. Woo. I wrote that last night. That was really tough to write. There's a lot of symbolism to protect myself. As poets, we often get on stage and just vomit all the truth and like have no shielding to protect ourselves. But since sometimes you write about really fresh situations and there's still kind of like blood under the scab, so I use, and a lot of poets do this, use craft to kind of shield themselves. Like, I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to tell you everything. You're just not going to know that I'm telling you everything when I read this. So that's kind of what happened. Yes, the first question you think of when when you're gay and your closeted lover cheats on you is, was it a woman? It's always the first question. It was a woman, wasn't it? I can't do that for you. That's why you did it. No. So, yeah, shield yourself when you get on stage and bleed. This next poem is How to Make a Rapist. First, start with a son. Take away or give him to his father. As he grows, tell him he can be anything he wants to be when he grows up. Smile at him often. Hold his hand tightly. Tuck him in as if the blanket is your hand and his hand crossing a main street. Say I love you every day, every time, mean it. Put blood in your mouth when you speak to him, but speak to him. Hold him in the soil of your forearms. When he outgrows you, give him sisters and wind. Show him how his imagination can be a projector screen. Tell him to protect his love with fists of jello. Teach him how to put down his wrestling action figures and change the baby's diaper. Give him a big backyard, a school, friends, hide and seek, mother may I, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Teach him multiplication tables. Tell him that they are his. Tell him. Write him poetry and never let him see it. Pray for him in the silence of his puberty. Let him hang with his friends. Make him take his sisters sometimes. Make sure he knows they're pretty. Make him protect their love with his fist of flesh and bone, an overprotective big brother. Go to his basketball games. Punish him when he comes home drunk. Clean the bathroom after he empties his night half on the floor. Pay for him. Pray for him in silence of his merit roll certificates. Die a little when this happens. Keep the blood in your mouth when this happens. Take him to his graduation. Tell him the world is his and that he can have anything. Meet his girlfriend. Cry when you realize she is wearing your eyes. Make her dinner, eat her up, fall in love with her as he did. When they leave, tell him to always follow his heart. Tuck a stack of morals under his coat and a plate of meatloaf. Watch them walk to the car. Pray in the silence of the closed door and his obvious love for things that remind him of his mother. At this time, die. Pray loudly, but die. Spit the blood in the face of the silence. Know that there are secrets you will never tell him about his father. Cry for the women he will marry as you drift past the ceiling of your daughter's screams. Tell him to choose the prettier things. Tell them there is no truth about their father. Die faster before he and his girlfriend reach the car. Pray for the high heels she is wearing. Pray for them. Pray they are expensive. Tell them to stay together. Don't break when she tries to run because you tried to run but could not. Know that the beast lives inside of his boyhood blood, his innocent morals, the jello bricks of his father's hands, the attempt to keep yourself pregnant with him forever. Half of his facial features you do not recognize. They are not his great uncle's lips or your sister's nose. They belong to the animal that shoved your son up you in the blackest night. After you met his mother, she cried for you and gave you meatloaf. Prayed for your shoes, and his face melted off forever. There is no way to make a rapist. All you can do is build a son and pray. Hey, what's up? All right, cool. I have time for one more. Hunter Prey is coming up in right after this poem, so it's gonna be really funky dunky fresh. So, hiya. Hi, official. Have a seat. Right there. Right in the blue vase. Guys, if you're reading, just dump your cash in the blue vase. All right, this last thing I'm going to do is called High School Anecdotes. We were lied to. In these hallways, dead men scream in the paint. Hindu Greek gods trade genitals, finger mythology roughly. These hallways measure the dead in good company. You see the wood paneling of your home here. The pink-haired girl has a crush on you. You have a crush on her ponytail holder. These are the best years of our lives, they say. These are the best. Being stripped in the confines of a guidance counselor's fetish for things going right as scheduled, a teacher's ego, doctors nonchalantly taking credit for your brain. These are the days of our lives, they say. Summer is coming. Live in spring, teenager. We are wreck and demolition, destruction and poor nutrition. We explode like our birds, leaving the fingers and toes in some chick's pinata vagina. I have seen headless things walking around here, eating pussy and calling it brain food. Any boy can swim in the Red Sea, they say, but it takes a man to drink from it, they say. We live in our high school, Michael. Archangel, the cookies your mother made us the day Sonny said he wasn't graduating with our class. Laugh at the honesty because that is as close as teenage boys get to cry honestly in our town. Throw lit bottle rockets at the sky when they color themselves with your sister's paintbrush. Say it again, Jermaine. We are all shadows to the sun. Does it blink when it looks at its reflection? Jermaine, you are as bright as a blinking sun would say. The homeroom girls called you a smart ass. The jocks spit at the cafeteria in your lungs. You fed us too much. Ravel, you are what a lie looks like when it tries to tell the truth too much. You are hands to clouds. Still, my boy, you are so clitoris sensitive with a big ass head. We called ourselves the Warriors without a cowboy. Jaw slightly jacked off left. This is for the gray in us. The us that wishes we were as beautiful as our shadows, the parts that trip over ourselves and fall in love with something other than our own erections, skewed lines, lopsided like a pair of titties. That's how we like ourselves. We know graduation was a huge group funeral for our childhoods. That's when we all came out to each other. I was and still am the only gay one. You said it, Mike. If these are the best years of our lives, then acid trip me at the top of a mountain and of the quintessence of us. I can fall to death. It's the negative slopes from here, they tell us. Y minus Y1 equals M times the quantity of X minus X1, they say. Compulsive love will bring about disaster, they say. Boys can fuck and still lead a normal life. Girls have sex and become amoeba, and they give everything. They give up everything, they say. Kiss your mother on the cheek. Leave the zombie your house has become. Grow up, boy, grow up. When the smoke of the tassel shifting clears. Mike, Ray, Jermaine, Sonny, we will laugh. We will all laugh. We will all laugh in unison at the honesty. Finally, let our hair down. All right. Cool beans. Thanks, guys, for letting me read them rough-ass pieces. All right. It is now 8:40, so coming to the stage for you all's enjoyment is Toledo poet Hunter Prey. Give it up for him till he reaches the stage.
What's up? Like I said, I'm Hunter Prey. I'm gonna do some pieces for y'all. The first piece I'll do is like I said, it's one of my favorites. One of the reasons why I'll do it is because basically part of the title is in part of this programming. Like this was they said this is called like the Neverending, like a poetry marathon, and I had wrote a piece a while back that was based on this 80s movie called The Neverending Story. Yes. If y'all don't know it, go check it out. But I kind of wrote it with that in mind and with this article by Cornel West called Nihilism or Nihilism. And basically kind of combining the two, showing how they're kind of one and the same for the ghetto. So I call this one Atreyu. This is the never-ending story of the never-ending struggle. This right here is the never-ending story of the never-ending struggle. The never-ending struggle story of young black men and women who rustle up true hustles within America's fantasia, the ghetto, root of painful imaginations. The story of a people in a land that is constantly attacked by the nihilistic nothings, the soon-to-be crack rock biters who have big, strong, good hands with plans and are worth something but nothing that can work for because mistakes have been made and felonies soon engraved into their names. The childlike nameless empresses who are young but in America's fantasia grown old souls, as some grow old but yearns for a bold young life, stricken sick by the nothing's illness of distrust of young Atreyu, who carries all the hopes of the people. Riding his glistening body Mustang on 20s, menace to society, he is plenty, unknowingly racing to chase his grandmama Southern Oracle to save our withering cultured world. Wearing this crushed ice lace orange to protect him from the nothing, because his mental is, at least I got something. Shit, you know I got something. See, because young Atreyu feels that basketball could be his luck dragon to fly him beyond fantasia. If this young Atreyu says, my flows is ill, I got poetry skills, music and performance will be my luck dragon. But that particular Atreyu, he says, hey, psst, psst, hey, listen up. I got a new dance. Not quite Bankhead or Down the Way or Superman, but shit, I'm doing something with my shoulders so I can shake off this chip that this bitch of a country made and turn to this whip so that nothing can chain and grip me. Hopefully never that. So watch and see them fly high like Falcor into the sky, seas of infinite possibilities so that they could pass the boundaries of America's fantasia. Grandmama Southern Oracle says the answer to save our world lies beyond the boundaries of America's ghetto fantasia. But all the while, apathy is watching them, lurking in the gloomy shadows of ghetto fantasia, infecting all the inhabitants there so that they blurt out things like, that doesn't concern me. Or, man, I ain't on that shit, man. Or, not that it matters. Not that it matters that another young Atreyu was shot down in these fantasia streets, or his hopeful mentality is laid dead in the swamps of sadness. Not that it matters that young empresses are shamed because they have one too many different father babies. And not that it matters as apathy's howl and is written in deserted castles and tattered houses where apathy lies in waiting. Just to tell young Atreyu that ghetto fantasia has no boundaries, because no ghetto is harder than mine. And in every city past the boundaries of ghetto fantasia lies a ghetto. Therefore it has no boundaries. So does nothing grow stronger from this truth about our world. This nothing is destroying our world. Nothing is destroying our world. Dilapidated buildings, the blacks shooting the living dead because our minds are deadened. Robbing to survive, desperations that robs aspirations of one's robbed. Trash in diseased streets, economic apartheid. So when we see our people on the corner of any block or any college campus, they say, "Hey, yo, what's up?" We reply, "Shit, nothing." Oh, shit. The nothing has infiltrated our language. Substance of nothing in our music. How do we stop the evaporation of ourselves through the nothing when nothing speaks through us? Young Atreyu feels he has failed because Fantasia lies in ruins, and he sees the now fiend out, crack rock bottom, crying inside because his friends left him and slipped through his tired weather fingers. And he says, they looked like big, strong, good hands with plans, didn't they? And young bruh, you think you could spare any change? Young Atreyu then reunites with young Empress and speaks sorrows to her, unbeknownst to him that he has brought people with him throughout his journey, because those who listen live this journey, and they are him within this realm of ghetto Fantasia. But here's the question. How do you fight a nothing? How do you fight nothing? How do you fight I don't care? How do you fight I don't give a fuck? How do you fight I'm gonna go to this Pastor Gavassier melee party, get smoke my go fucked up, and hey, yo, check this. I'm gonna fuck this one chick and fuck this other nigga up simply because I ain't got shit else to do. But hey, we love the sport. The sort that has babies crying in shitty diapers because their parents are doing nothing but nothing. And black men see now then we stand on cracked ground. Young Empress needs a new name. She's remained nameless 500 years backbone of our endless tussle. But see, young Atreyu feels he can name her anything he wants. But hey, bitch, hoe, trick, skis, anything you could say that's degrading of a woman in the past 20 years won't suffice. But the black man he could be could give it to her. Fearful to the point of perilous tears, sitting in her ivory project tower, young Empress screams, "Atreyu, black man, help me save us," because she's felt she's done it alone all too long. And then Atreyu became black man, with a grain of infinite wishes and hope, saying, "Well," he said, "nobody fucks with my mama. So I'm going to recreate and rebirth our world in my mama's name. Carry our life in my mama's name." Shit, in the past, I've already put my phone bill and my car note and everything else in my mama's name. So, black man stands on the corner of ghetto Fantasia, looks into the nothing and screams, "Young Empress, our foundation in the struggle. Beauty, Isis, thy name is black woman." And all is quiet. And the cycle is complete. And it has to hurt before it heals. This is America's Fantasia. This is ghetto Fantasia, where dreams come to life and die like all things that once lived. This is America's ghetto Fantasia, root of painful imaginations. All right. This next one I'm going to do. Like I said, this next one I'm going to do here is I'm gonna move over into my spitter phase. Okay. Let's see. I have one that has absolutely no name, and then I have one that's called The Robbery, and I wrote it for a friend of mine that was, like I said, in prison for, i.e. robbery. So, like I said, we have no name, we have robbery. No name, robbery. No name, robbery. Y'all got any? Robbery? Okay. Parental advisory is advised. The robbery. All right, let's see if I get this. All right, The Robbery. He thought Blessed Lord, I gotta find this exit door to opportunity leading to that next step. Sitting on these steps of this front porch, knowing, yeah, I gotta go. Rings true like Saturn hails fire cells, and now I got it. I gotta make a profit, frantic like it's panic room. I need to leave this ghetto, got my foot up on the gas. Vroom. It's still plotting on the stack option. I can't stop yet, I'm living by this alphabet. It's A before O's, hey before hoes, if you say so. Fuck that, I'm on master classics like I got my pistol grip pump on my lap, and it's about time I hit this track gunning in the crunch. I need enough chips laid, no job, no pay. And in these projects, that mister don't play. So if you ain't from this way, don't come around here. I'm desperate and I'm about to rob something. Shit, cause see, that's the life he chose. Nigga can't be broke no more, man. He tried work, still po. So this nigga gonna take yours slow. He thought, I don't wanna, but I gotta. There's a problem, I'ma solve it. Damn, I'm sweating, calm down. I got my plan, I need to follow. Post up a minute. Keep your shit tucked, watch, listen, man. I need a square to ease this fucking itch. Maybe I should've pitched. I'm still for home plate instead. And with my mouth to feed in mine, I gotta get some bread soon. About the corner store corridor, this chick stepping in the Dolce & Gabbana dress. Is she alone? Yes, seems to be. Guess there's some blessing for my sinning. Living out the box, 1 a.m. more or less. Let's begin, no shock, all stealth. Leave without a death, remember that she passing me by. Now it's a 151 proof clear shot, and I can't stop for the fear that it may turn messy. I'm doing anything to feed mine. Yep, damn, it's time to make that move, man. Cause that's the life he chose. Nigga can't be broke no more, man. He tried work, still po. So this nigga gonna take yours slow. He thought she talking on her cell phone. She distracted. Start cautiously back up a bit. No calmly switch the pose, Lord knows we gotta face facts. She can live without a shit. You can't relax a minute. You gotta handle this. Okay, grab her by her face and drag her in the alley. Say, don't fucking move, I'll show you like you Babe Ruth. Shit. So improve if you think I'm bullshitting about my business. I ain't even hit my stride yet. That sounds good. Tell her face the wall. Grab her purse. Cock the hammer back. Reinforce fear. Clear your throat. Don't plead, bitch. Stay turned. No witnesses. This is what it is. Shut up and you live to breathe another morning. And I'll confess it to the Lord later. It's a clean take. Just Rob took pay. You out the red zone. Pay no attention to her whimpers. Just leave that track running for the next one. All right. I'm gonna switch it up. Like I said, keep it moving. Like I said, this next one that I got, it's a personal favorite. This one is kind of about chasing dreams, so I'll do that. Basically, the way I kind of look at it is, if you have a dream, you should chase it how a child would chase a butterfly in a field. So I wrote this, and it's called Chasing Butterflies. Sometimes I look out on an open field and I search for butterflies. With a child's eye, I search for butterflies. And when I find one, you know what I do? You know what I do? I run. I chase it. I run like hell, knowing that if I could maybe catch it or catch up to it, it can show me my path. How I can be free just like it. How I can fly in a zigzag pattern of a straight line, and my small wings can create a hurricane theory of progress. With wind at my back and air under my feet, I can be like it. And it can be with me. You know, I used to just watch butterflies before I chased them. At 3, dragging my Grammy and the bus driver off the metro just to observe a monarch perched on his dandelion throne. Only to say, look, see, look, see? Just pointing. I guess back then, it was the only way I knew how to explain the joy in being the king of one's destiny. And I wanted to mirror that, to sit on a chair made of weeds and issues and know still there is beauty. So we are caught in this delicate dance. Chase, pursue, step back. Reach out, move close, retract. So close, I'm running back. Romancing every step. Inhaling the pollen off his wings like I'm searching for fuel in his jet stream to keep up and hold pace. Cause see, love of you, delirium awaits in my hands. But be careful. I don't want my eagerness to crush you. Nah, I don't want to place you in a scrapbook or put you in a jar to admire the death of you. I just hope that in my chasing, you would choose me. And with you in the palm of my hands, and you didn't disappear into the horizon, I can look into those butterfly eyes and say, I belong to you. I will protect you and still flaunt you as my prize. That you are that wife and kid on Red Rose Lane when the bills are paid and concrete jungles won't matter and dark days will shatter because you illuminate like fireflies, and that the remnants of twigs in my past won't tell that at times I am a weak tree to land on. That I'm not always in bloom to feed you. That I love your freedom, but I'm trapped by my roots to the ground. I am caught in this artificial chrysalis, watching out of HD iPlasma TVs, just marveling at the thought that this one pixel in the grand screen of things represents higher definition for me. A fucking butterfly. But every day, that butterfly should synchronize itself to the pattern that I ran to chase it, showing my name to the sky and my life to the world, and how I lived for it, how I loved, how I cherished, how I tripped up from broken promises and branches and stubbed my toes and just flat out fell short. All calligraphy written by me in the grass when my butterflies flew, only to learn that love is a freedom that chooses to sit in the palm of your hand. That dreams on a flight stream without pattern headed towards the horizon. That relationships, like life, are delicate things. And they can either stay, land, or leave you. So yeah, I'm chasing butterflies, chasing dreams. Like the wind chases the breeze, and my eyes can envision a scene of me catching up to a dream. All right. This next one I'll do. I said this one, like I know Akeem had mentioned it earlier. Like I said, my man Fatal Pros talked about it. And he said this was a piece that was dedicated to my little brothers. Yeah. Like I have like I said, it's like I have two little brothers. I said Michael and Philip. I said both of them are mentally delayed and suffer from autism, like different types. And like I said, helping raise them, I kind of wanted to give them peace. So I had wrote this for them. And it was called The Mind of Philip Turner. Can you give me a second here? It's like all the way in the back. All right. Mind of Philip Turner. Okay. That's my brother. That's my brother. Big brother on the phone. Sweet. I want to tell what I know. I want to tell what I know. Now I know. How I know but don't understand. Like 2 + 2 = twice that. I just can't track the numerals to the answer. and how I shouldn't recognize humor and tragedy. Laughter is inappropriate. I got that memorized, so yep, I know. Hey, I wrote a rap for you, big brother. The words came from what I heard, but I wrote them down so they're mine now, so I could be like you. I miss you. when you coming up? Cincinnati is far? Oh, man. But time in this phone line keeps you here. Like, time keeps my mind 5, but I'm 15 and I know. How I know I don't understand. How I can develop behind when I stand in the same line other kids do. They make fun, but I make friends. They my friends. Oh, guess what? I saw Iron Man. Yup, and it was good. And then we played video games on PlayStation till it caught fire and the nameplate fell off and then stars danced around my brain so I can name the cast of every movie I've seen that I didn't see or I've read or I've played on TV so I could show you I know more than I don't understand. I know. Huh? Yes. Be good. Nobody. Nuh-uh. I ain't hit the teacher. I ain't hit no teacher. I know because there was no teacher to teach. No. I hit that adult who didn't care enough to reach me beyond what they felt I couldn't possibly realize. That mommy knew I was smarter than that Crayola box they gave me every day so I could draw on the cord of the impulses I couldn't lock away instead of study. That I'm a painting brighter than that corner of the labels that they frame me with. Incorrigible, unteachable, MR, dangerous, stupid, out of control. So I know, big brother. I know but don't understand. While my education ain't special, yet that's what they tell me. I don't want to be special. I want to be cool. I want to be bulletproof like 50 Cent and Dragon Ball Z heroes and fly and have 15 girlfriends for 15 years of experience of being cool. A superhero rapper, not special. And mommy won't cry, and dad won't be mad at the next suspension I get for fighting something I don't know but don't understand. Nah, no, I ain't lying. I'm telling the truth. Telling the truth the way I know it should be. I should be. So it is because I say it. It is because I memorize it so I know. Knowing is habit. Memory is habit, so I know. Mommy couldn't handle my habits. The difference between the adults who teach in school and the teachers, I don't understand. I know, but I'm trying. I know I didn't do good, Hunter, but I'm trying. I'm trying to get myself together. It's cool. Hey, guess what? I don't go to that high school no more. Nope. Nuh-uh. I go to a school where kids are autistic, like me. And 2 + 2 = 4. How my brother came to self-actualization that he doesn't understand, I don't know. But I'm sure he does. I don't know. I guess I'll do one more and I'll be out y'all way. Running my breath out. Oh, it is? Oh, okay. My bad. I'll bounce. Didn't know. Okay.
Sorry, Hunter, but all right. We are switching mics now. Quick in it.
Check, check.
Give it up for quick and efficient. Alrighty. So we have a special little treat. We have a short set coming on by Miss Julia Jones. She is a slammer and poet and mommy of 1.5 children. Because one is currently baking in the oven right now. She is having a baby shower and she does accept donations. Mm-hmm. She's getting her poem together. She slammed for the 2000. She is a 2011 Slam U finalist. She also slammed for Dragon Inc. like once. What had happened was she got full of baby. So Julia is about to come up and entertain you guys for 5 minutes. And next up on the mic is Abigail Carney after Julia. So guys, welcome Julia to the stage. Welcome Julia to the stage. Oh, yeah. One small announcement, there is a cake. It's called Better Than Sex. Elisa Lane, please stand and be recognized. She made this cake. It is delicious. It is the only cake that I will eat because I don't actually eat wheat. And we do have merch available. My book and my teammate and Elisa's husband, Fatal Prose, a.k.a. Anthony Miller, his CD is available. The cake is free, though. If you want to get some cake, just come see me. I'll cut you a slice. All right, without further ado, Julia Jones.
Hey, guys. This is a new mic stand. Different-ish. Okay. Hi, everybody. Like I said, my name's Julia, and this is the first time reading off of a phone. Okay. You never really know a person until you can see their flaws, or until you catch sight of their dirty demons and throw them on white walls. I hate the sound confusion makes when it hits pavement. It's like charcoal on chalkboard. Not too many people know that sound. There was this girl I knew whose long hair wasn't good enough, so she chopped it off and replaced it with shortcomings. She liked not having dead roots hang on her shoulders. People never understood why she didn't like trees, or how she didn't like trees because they stood too tall next to her, or how Mother Nature had a nasty way of showing people their place. She did like butterflies, though. She wished she could be as careless as they were, with no other concern than which way the wind may blow. She really liked the white ones. The ones whose only wish was that the birds can learn to share the sky with them. I don't see that girl these days. I think she's hiding in children's games and simple thinking, and the places that grown-ups don't think to look, like the downward corners of smiles or behind happy eyes. I kinda miss that girl. She never had time for demons and nightmares, not like me. She was not afraid of dirty daydreams and people asking her how she feels today because she always knew how to answer. She knew that not all white walls are bad and that sometimes the best way to fly is to clip your wings. I could never do those things. Happy places and simple things elude me, and I'm too afraid to tell Mother Nature off. I felt her shake me on my fault lines, and it didn't feel good. So I have grown accustomed to seeing her in my memory or in old pictures. I used to see her in the mirror, but she hasn't been there in a while, and it hurts too much to look for her, so I avoid them. I pretend that I never knew her because missing her hurts too much. That's why my smiles are broken, why summer days with pleasant breezes rarely make my cheekbones glisten. My joys are the ashes and dusts, little things that know how to rise and fall in still air. I don't like the sound of laughable labels and misexplained issues make against white walls, and the girl never showed me how to listen to the music past those miseries. She never taught me how to live in just one day like hair does. I envy her for her knowledge and blame her for my lack, but I think it's time I stopped because my flaws are bouncing back like ping pong balls, and I don't have the hands to catch them. They are too busy holding shattered images, and it's time I put the mirror back together. I used to build moats out of old water and quicksand in hopes that old things would stay, but I am learning. No one can breathe in weed, and I like gardening. So I think I'll get dirty, put my hands and knees down in the earth, and who knows? I may find the little girl I knew, brand new and all grown up, ready to be butterflies and birds, ready to share the sky's smiles and the earth's tears, and remind Mother Nature that even mishaps have their place. Thank you. Now, the next piece came from Phoenix. He told me to write in 10 minutes, and it was a wonderful exercise. Give him props. It's a piece I wrote about my aunt. So, depending on you is like waiting for the storm to break when the weatherman says it'll be sunny. I used to look up to you. Placed you on a pedestal that your legs would look longer on, but you were too busy to notice my praise. Too wrapped up in the reflection of your dead sister in my eyes, Auntie. You used to call me girlfriend. So when I got older, I kept all my friends at distance because that's what I thought girlfriends did. I am older now, and you have not changed. You carry 3 jobs, 2 degrees, and empty nights like badges of honor. You choose to remember the Christmases that you were late to and forgot the ER tears when Granny was sick. Every time I see you, I catch a lightning bug smile and wear it for you. It makes you believe that I am not mad. Instead, I ask you to take me to see your sister so that maybe I can understand why you're so distant. The only time storms break and you're there is when death lays on your conscience like it's your fault birthdays get pushed up to paydays because all a 10-year-old girl wants is her girlfriend there. You tried to buy my love and naivete with cheap words and hand-me-down trinkets, but I'm not that expendable, Auntie. I do not like calling you on holidays or any day because forcing conversation with you is like asking acid rain to burn. It always leaves black marks on my tongue. You'll say things like, "You're like a daughter to me, and if you need me, call me," but I've never known a mother's love, and asking you to give that to me is asking too much. It would take away from your midnights at work. I remember all I wanted to ask was about sex, to tell you that I think men would like me if they were already married, but you couldn't be there. You were too busy pretending that straight-A nieces don't have daddy issues. I grew up, Auntie, and I learned that words and actions only like each other when they're agreeing. Yours rarely did that. But I will leave you in your world. Allow you to call me girlfriend and avoid me because ghosts aren't real, and I'll give you credit for what you have done. Nothing more, nothing less.
Ooh, give it up for Julia, shorty mama. Alrighty. Woo! All right, I'm not gonna be up here long. Next up, we have 2011. Next up, we have 2011 Brave New Voices Cleveland Slam Team member Autumn Aki coming to the stage.
Yo. So I'm gonna do 2. Well, how many minutes do I have? 10. Awkward swag. All right. If you haven't, well, you should go on YouTube and look up awkward swag. I don't know how to spell the team's name, but it's awesome. Anyway, yeah, final stage BNV awkward swag. Awesome stuff. All right, so I'm going to start now. There are embers tickling the feet of the city. In crack spots, driveways, park benches, and missing homes, there are embers. And they creep from cracks in worn streets, seep from the sky and nestle beneath us. They sweep across our bodies in stagnant winds around cars speeding down St. Clair and strolling down Coventry. I have seen them. Been seeing them for a while now. To me, they look like little fireflies or pixie dust carrying off the dirt. I see them collect like molecules of DNA, bond in night skies with constellations, and then creep back down to gravity when the sun peeks its head over its pillows. You know, these embers have always breathed across landscapes of cardinals and maple trees, broke past Huff's ashes in the lake's suicide attempt. Cleveland has tried to destroy itself a lot. Buried itself in its own dirt, engulfed its people in endless winters and steel cages. We've kept giving in to its wishes, letting our faces hang its corners melt, letting our hands break open and callous fingers lose their power to hold on to themselves. Cleveland has a way of making everything gray, a mix of black and white. You see, we live in black, dream in white, and things seem gray when we can't grasp what was dream in the first place. This city has a way of sinking its claws into your spine and making it hard to leave when you are responsible for self. My mama told me, failure's in our blood, thicker than our relation. If you stay here, you die here. Sister told me there was nothing but darkness in the city because in Cleveland we have a black sun that teeters on its axis, cackling as we crawl through its midnight like we have no eyes left to see with. The city has a way of making sure your feet are grounded. But I swear, I see some embers still flickering in the cracked sidewalks and crooked smiles swinging against skylines. I see sparks when I hold my niece's hand and walk down the street. Listen to her sing mantras to pink unicorns and Obama. Flickers in between my brother's thumbs and the maps he studies. Between Nigel's small fist pumping and the atmosphere flickers. My daddy says the only way to survive is to leave before the next suicide attempt of this godforsaken city, and I looked him in the eye with a half smile. Said, if I leave, what will become of Amira's hummingbird voice, James's mind of maps, Nigel's revolution and tiny fingerprints? If I leave, what will happen to the embers of a city we have already labeled burnt out? They will lose their light, walk around in darkness like you do. I stood, walked along my street, making sure not to step on any cracks, and I whistled. The embers, shy and weak, floated from their caves, their cracks, their sifted wood. I placed one on a brick in that public schoolyard, one on a little girl who was trying to touch the sky, and left the last on my arm. It dug its way into my skin. There are embers in this city that sweep beneath our footsteps and hide in the cracks of our pavement. They are fleeting, they are weak, but they are burning. And this next piece is kind of to honor if you don't know about the police brutality happening in San Francisco and with the public transportation system there, you should look it up. This is kind of like my kind of ode to them. 12 a.m. in a courtyard. On a college campus somewhere far from home, I heard an explosion. Something. Break through the hum song of a girl from New York. It cuts off her voice. Left us sitting in mumbled silence for a few seconds, we wondered. Pondered the earthquake that shook Dorm 3, UC Berkeley, just south of Oakland, just too close to men. Boys, gunned down. We were pretty tense. And for that second of broken air, I knew. We all thought of a steel chamber locked, cocked in the calloused hands of a policeman. Our eyes all looked past the beautiful girl from New York, all looked past San Fran to homes we were too far from. Images ingrained in our minds of shotguns, pistols, gunned down brothers. For a moment, we teleported back and forth to cities and homesteads. I felt the energy shift. Nuclear level explosion, like sirens blared around our necks, like flashing lights and bodies laying against cement. The singing started like an ode. Slowly and quietly she sang low. She sang low was her name, and she sang. But the tension and the murmurs overwhelmed her, so she let her voice fade, and we sat for moments knowing that a girl was thinking of her father gunned down in a drive-by in New York. Pelican Bay. Bart homicides echoing through train tracks, all the men gunned down for hysterics. That one day in Berkeley was the first time I heard a gun shoot earthquakes into the land's skin. But I still had an image clear as day break through my mind and sting at my tear ducts. I'd seen enough men on the streets of this country to know what death sounds like. We kept going with our poetry. Let the words lull us back from our night terrors. In Berkeley, a cold night in July, we held a memorial for him with hums of metaphors and imagery. Beautiful. a slam, man. Do I have time still? 3 minutes? Okay, well, it's not my piece, but can I read it? It's Anis Mujani, Milos. Okay. I don't have it, but anyway. Let us take a sack of spray paint. Spray paint over the paintings. Let us dance through Paris. Kiss in the shadows of the Louvre. Crawl inside its windows. Scroll manifestos over its canvases. Write Morris's code on the sculptures. Roll sleeping bags on the floors to sleep inside of. Tell one another a story by flashlight. Unearth everything from before. Bury each other inside the other. Feed grapes to the ants. Light fireworks in the fists of sleeping kings. Kill a monarch. Break back outside to find a world to do all these same things to. Up and upon against. Break the bricks, climb over them. And when the sirens scream, laugh aloud. Hold my hand and run fast. Run through the streets with me with a bunch of bottles, a bucket of gasoline, a mouthful of matches, a pocket full of paintings, and fresh-faced batch of policemen to chase the fires we are lighting. Laugh on a shoulder of gold. And I thought the museums were cemeteries where the dead paid the wall to hold what we had so that we would walk through what we once were. And the children take skulls to turn into gardens, to pluck for forefathers and farther stars that on some nights resemble an armless mother praying for her arms to return. Every tooth that we tear from our jaws to fling at the black-gloved riot soldiers are another shadow that we are trying to lose. Let every giggle be filled with lust. Let us laugh this night away, and I will fuck you like you were a prayer. I could save me by having my mouth around you, and I will hold you afterwards like you were the pulpit and I was the sky, and this love. The dance between this hardness was a telephone line of holiness that those two things spoke through. Take me into your heart like I was a saint, and you were a face of forgiveness, blooming in a valley destined to sink further. Be a river with me. Be the storm. The bend in the path, the front porch, the heat in the south. Be a boat full of banjo strings, a fistful of written songs, a mouthful of chocolate dust. When they come to take us, stab them between the eyes. Do not take your hand from around mine, make a fist with the other, and punch spines like gills, spit, sweat, kiss them like grandmother. How will open mouth terror love filled? And when they come to cut our hair and ask to hear penance, come from inside us, say with me loud and trembling, but loud and clear, I have already emptied myself. I kissed regret goodbye, took the hands of another backwards angel and rode backwards into the rain. When the hangman of morrow comes to hang the sun in its daily execution, say this with me. Sarah, we are apples. Our love is an apple. I'm unbuttoning my shirt, painting a circle over my heart. Please, just shoot straight. I love him.
That was an Anis Mojgani poem. He was individual World Poetry Slam champion like 2 years in a row, and he came out of nowhere. He's really a good guy. And in the words of Derek Brown, Anis is a baby angel. All right, well, anywho, without further ado, we have another 2011 Brave New Voices Youth Poetry Slam team member, Abigail Carney.
I love you too. Oh, God. Yes. So Autumn just did her BNB poems. I went to a workshop with Maida Duval. Is that how you say her last name? And it was really good. And she we sort of meditated, and it was really crazy. And then when we woke up, we just sort of wrote. This poem's kind of crazy, but it came from that. And it was terrible because I was really into it. And then she was like, stop, and I can't finish it because I just can't get back to it. So I called him Sublime. As circus clowns roamed around the walls outside, painting stripes not there of blue and red. We would not let them in, but they called you, said we love you, need you, you made this party, so become it. But you were peaches that you had picked yourself, and we'd shed our parachutes so long ago that it was not the banging outside which mattered. In the middle of our circus, you had no hard time forgetting the morals someone made for you. When you'd lost hold of the promises to yourself, but you could barely admit it. Painted the night unusual, as if not doing something often means it doesn't count, but I was trapezing across broken rules too. It's just hard to realize you're the same person in the air or on the ground. When the curtain fell, the clowns were outside still, turning almost to hungry elephants waiting for peanuts. They'd found a grizzly bear. The kind that used to live there, they wanted it to dance, but a bear in a bonnet with a disco playing is an animal still. So it charged them. T said they were forgetting what the sky meant, but they were too done up in foolishness to want for anything but the trapeze act to go on endlessly. We left the room, walls striped for a crowd, pretending to be missing. So you struck up as a minstrel, and someone told me I was famous now, but words don't make sense when you've been speaking in elbow tongue and eyelash in a room-painted circus tent. I left for the promise of your mother for a moment, the only act that will never fade for you. You tried to make your skull the gray stones of Jesus, but the commandments wore off because you were a totem pole, and the stories of your mother are not church hymns. You will keep singing them anyway, forgetting what your God looks like when the lights are not off, but strobing out rainbows that don't really have an ending or a beginning, only the promise that they won't be held. I added 2 lines at the end after the fact, but it should have gone on for longer. Okay, I know. Okay. Well then, it's done.
I guess what I'm trying to say is good job, guys.
So I haven't written very much poetry this summer. I've been writing a lot of prose because I like that better. But yeah. So basically, my job is I drive around and look at people's gardens that were donated to them in low-income neighborhoods, and so I was in these really horrible neighborhoods, and the houses all really sucked, and then there'd be these really nice churches just around there, because I don't, way better than any of the houses, which is weird because no one lives there. And this kind of came from that, so. It didn't go where I wanted to, but I like where it went. Anyway. I'm sorry. I get to disclaim all I want. I have 30 minutes, Peanut. In the ghettos, the churches are nicer than the homes, the grocery stores, and the school buildings. For 2 hours each Sunday, those citizens with enough hope or fear or ritual to keep coming back to whitewashed walls of piousness sit in God's house. God is always made richer than those who worship him. But if God lived here, walked here, slept here, I cannot imagine he would choose a whitewashed house with a steeple. When he built for himself the forests, mountains, dunes. When he built for himself the waterfalls, lagoons, and sandbars. I wonder about sitting in a man-made pew, watching a man preach from a book men wrote. When we go to church, do we worship too much of ourselves and too little of what is holy? Even if we were made in his image, we were made in a garden, to live among his trees and birds and sunsets. Instead of building cathedrals, let us carve out the corners of ghettos and cornfields. Let the land turn to the flowers, birds, beauty given us. Let us read verse in the clouds, in the path of insects, hear sermons in the song of the wood thrush and the rain's descent. If God is light, he is not fluorescent bulbs behind plastic rectangles or even the insistent loneliness of flame from wax. If he is light, he is the sun against the white clouds of summer, the glow between the autumn's leaves, and the stars' reminder of how many other suns his skies hold. If we want to know God in a church, upon a cement foundation with layers of drywall and plastic keeping the wind away, we should remember he built himself a house already, for God is a better architect than we are. Would he not want us to worship beneath a mountain, a bird's migration, a jungle's canopy? I cannot imagine that God wears clothes. Not robes, not angel wings. He made animals so they wouldn't need them either. But we moved to cold, towards fire, to four walls we made to worship him in. When the hurricanes, monsoons, and volcanoes come, they do not take the land, the sky, or the rain away. All that grows broken are the walls and roads we've made to keep the world away. Let us find God in the promise of a sunrise, an infant's fontanelle, and an ocean's always tide. Let us remember we are meek beyond what the Bible says, and in millions of years, our churches will be gone. The mountains and oceans may exist here still, our planet might exist here still, but other stars and galaxies will only be forever, worshiping God the way we were meant to, and continuing flowing and understanding. This land was never ours to mangle. Huh? I'm just figuring out what I want to do. Michelle told me I can't do any memorized ones, so I have to do all new ones.
Do that one. Oh my.
I'm not doing 15 words. So no one has ever heard any of these poems. This one I wrote a while ago, and it's about a bad poet. But not really, kind of, okay. I know you are empty, because I used to do that too. Carve encounters with strangers into metaphors and the reason for being. I know you are wounded. I remember the feeling. You fold your lack of grammar into Band-Aids, pray for clotting. I know you are lonely, making words on a page into people, the only ones that can't leave you, ones that don't talk fast most of the time. I know you are broken. See cadence and attempts at form as devices for keeping your limbs on. You wear personas like masks, so we won't watch the bruises forming, unforming, and we won't see all the ways you really are fine, you are fine. But somehow, it is not enough to hold on to. Hold out your hands in an offering of drawn-on emotion. If you can pretend to feel something, there must be something left. You waltz through minefields, maybe half knowing you've never been heavy enough to set them off. I wonder what you dream about these days. Are your subconscious motions better than the unconscious ones you sleepwalk through the day with? Or have they faded too? Past nights in the shadows of the statues your mind used to sculpt. Walk through graveyards of what you used to feel, the epitaphs short, stock, hurried. There was no one left to write them. I bet when you wake up, you've forgotten it all. Turn on the light, look towards the ceiling. It's the only sky you can touch these days, and even it seems farther away now. What's my time right now?
You have 20 minutes.
Michelle, can I do one memorized one? No. Please? I'm not doing Tunisia.
Do what you want.
Okay.
You have the stage.
I'm going to do this one because I didn't do it at BNB. Wait, I have to think about it. Shut up, Phoenix. Do you want to do a poem, Phoenix?
Put it in your mouth. Be quiet.
It is too hard to know if I will ever get better. Instead, you will pretend I never got sick. Write off nights alone. With the ghosts of my childhood I stacked beneath my box spring. The flower girl, the astronaut, the dancer. I do not remember the last time I danced. Something other than a Russian roulette tango with the nymph wraith that leaps into the darkness each time I am alone. People say I look jerky when I dance, use only my hands or only jump. I cannot move the way I am meant to. When you spend nights as a punching bag to the thoughts you cannot let yourself think, ballet does not come easy. You write off only smiling when I want something, a bottle of absinthe beneath the soccer shorts, a bowl beneath the Bible. Write it off as Prozac, as adolescent angst, as a narcissistic need for attention. When I get far too much notice from the gargoyle strung up inside of my skull, you say a therapist might fix me. You say I do not need one. We all have skeletons in the closet or not. I'm only letting mine hang out because my grit is gone. I should ask you, do you know what it feels like when your words are the only ones you have left as company and you cannot hold even them anymore? To not be a schizophrenic or a multiple personality freak, but a rainbow-colored shell for those currents that wash through you. Emotions they have not named yet, desires too strange to be taboos, that let me lick his eyeball because it's something I can feel, that let me hold this glass-coated crucifix so hard it shatters. Kiss each tiny piece, bury them in their own coffins. They'll let me run away from the equator, come back only when the sun stops setting. I know the secret. The sun does not go down, we do. This proof that our ground is always spinning does not comfort. It is something else I cannot hold on to. Things fall apart beautifully sometimes. I am throwing knives at the ceiling, wondering if it feels pain too. Waiting for that moment of the arcs repeating themselves in the gravity of perfect symmetry. I was lying about trying. I want to be strange, to hold knives, guns, bombs in my daydreams because missing limbs are something people stop feeling, and cutting, shooting, blowing them off will teach them how to feel. Remember, we are all broken. The world does that. It will not fix you. We would never know if you got better. Where'd Autumn go? So this poem is sort of from a conversation about time I had Saturday. But it kind of evolves from that because there's this weird thing called the twin paradox that I found when I was reading about time the other night that's explained in here. That's really crazy. So, absence makes the heart grow fonder, but I am here still. These are your hands that looked like they could lift the world up and did. The sky hasn't been the same since you taught me to find nothing but perfect blue in the day and whole lifetimes in the stars. The ground hasn't been the same since you rolled it out from under me and laughed as I fell on my ass. It was July, I think. My neighbor, the ugly, mean-looking one, had found a mouse head left over from one of the farm cats masquerading as a lion. That boy put the head on a stick because he was 10 summers old and stupid still. He chased me right over to the bridge that can't really be called that because it's just a couple logs left over from a god storm. He stuck the bleeding mouse brains right in my face. I was right ready to punch him until he looked like the mouse, but I remembered what Daddy said he'd do to me if I hit any of the boys again. So I pretended to fly and hopped right off the half bridge into the half river and hit the half that was creek bottom stone. You were there all of a sudden. Must have been riding your bike by like you always did. You were picking me up out of my half baptism and sort of lugging me onto your lap and carrying me straight to the doctor. Your bike was all rusted red, and soon your shirt started turning the same color. Both my arms were bleeding something terrible. You just kept talking about the sky. Said, look how blue it is. I was 14. It's been 40 years now, maybe, but I am still damn near 14. Not carrying my elbow won't bend right. Can barely notice. Seeing how the world doesn't bend right when I'm here, it bends better, and my words have been stumbling and bending too, but God, for 40 years now. But God damn it, tell me where they've started going. I don't close my eyes anymore. Because every time I open them, you get farther away. Because I get farther away, I know your name most mornings. This will change. These are your hands still. They cannot pick me up now. See, my mind is getting too light to hold. Our son was here yesterday to visit me. I don't have to tell you this. I'm the one forgetting things now, and he's a big science man now, he was telling me. They figured out about the speed of light. Nothing can go faster. So if you send one of those rockets away quick enough, the universe or God or maybe the stars make it get slower, except the rocket can't tell because the seconds keep passing the same way. Each one just as longer and relative to the Earth rocket, and if the space rocket had a farm cat on it, and its twin back home had a twin of the farm cat on it, the rocket farm cat would come back all young still. And the Earth farm cat would be all gray and hunched over and not walking right and dying. I don't want you to miss me. But even if my body stays here, we both know my mind will be leaving soon, so I'm getting a rocket, flying towards the light speed until each of my seconds is one of your years. You will age years. When I come back, I will be just like I am now, falling towards forgetting, but still holding on to something. You'll be gray, hands getting smudged with the years, but you won't have to watch me wasting away. I will care for you until the stars have gone out for good. This is when I will know we're ready to put you in the ground. Then I'll get in my rocket again, only this time I'll go slow. Slow enough for me to find the spot in the sky that lies just over your body. I'll pretend I can fly and hop off into the nothing. Turn myself to stardust. You don't have to catch me this time. have to use all of it? I don't want. I didn't even bring that many poems. Huh? What? I'm gonna make Phoenix go. Yeah. Yelling at me for doing that shit. So I've been writing a lot of prose about my Oma, which is grandma, which you will hear in this poem. And at BNV, I was sprinting through San Francisco for a little bit because I lost my camera and poster for a while. And I was like, hey, I should write a poem about this. And I started writing a poem about this. And this is the one I was writing on the BART feverishly autumn. And then sitting in our room writing. And it should be 20 pages long, but it's not done yet. This is like chapter 1. Phoenix! I don't have enough poems to fill 14 minutes unless I bullshit for a while, so, okay. I'm sorry, internet world. Okay. The Dutch word for grandma is Oma. And my Oma was born Victorina Theodora Clementina Josefina Soylen in 1920. Some people like to call her country Holland, but my Oma never wore wooden shoes. Only the pride of a family going into a house so big they hardly had to look at each other anymore. Only the nursemaids and tutors and paintings, but my Oma loved her brothers, Theo the older, Hoop the younger. They had a tendency of breaking her hopes into mockeries, telling her to dream bigger. So my Oma did not want to be a housewife, so she read more books than any girl had to. When she was 19, Victorina's father started wasting into a boxing match with his insides. He had cancer, but she did not call it that. She called it, my father is dying. Maybe he was only the man who made this house, this pride I have to keep pretending in. But just because someone has never met God does not mean they don't love him. My Oma's father was dying of cancer, but she called it, my father is going to fall into the holes that have opened in his pupils before I can remember him. She called it, this is 1939, and we were trying to forget Germany, but even if a country ignores a fire, its people will start to burn. I may want to be more than a housewife, but I am not strong enough to fight this war without him. My Oma's father died the same year the Nazis invaded her country. Her family were atheists pretending to be Protestants, but the Germans did not need religion to declare a people weak. Every Dutch man from 18 to 35 was forced to work. Theo was sent to Poland, where he tore down the brick dreams of families that looked just like his, dead fathers, and brothers sent to fight a war that was no one's. Theo tore down houses for a wall that would keep in nothing but hatred, and Hoop was train-shipped to Germany, where he worked laying railroad ties for death camps alongside the men that would be sent to them, to a hell he could not believe in yet. And my Oma's house would collapse on itself if it lost any more of its architecture. She tried to read away the fear, but every story seemed too much like a fairy tale, every villain too much like the sunrise. Victorina's father was dead. There are no pensions in war zones that have declared themselves neutral, so my Oma's mother began to sell the paintings. Pride relinquished so they might remember dignity. My Oma's mother sold heirlooms and began taking in boarders, as their son Theo placed bricks on a wall that kept being bombed by Americans, as her son Hoop laid steel for tracks that kept being bombed by Americans. My Oma kept studying, perfected her English, her French, her German, tried to learn anything that might make her more than a casualty of Germany or domesticity. Hoop ran away from the railroad tracks, from the American bomb that was going to come, that came only to the young men who were fighting for nothing but their lives, for no one but their mothers. Ran from the railroad tracks that went straight to a hell he didn't want to believe in. He ran home. It took 3 weeks for the Germans to find him. He was cattle carted along a path he'd helped build, to a hell that didn't care if it was real or not. My Oma's mother became a painting hung in the drawing room, and when Theo came back, he imitated the ghosts of his brother and father by not being there at all. The war was supposed to be ending, but my Oma could see fire and steel in the eyes of even the children, even the birds. The only calm she found was in the work-worn arms of a Dutch man from the south. The north and south of the Netherlands was like the two hemispheres of Civil War America, except the hostilities were older than the 1800s, and the Dutch had always been too peaceful to settle them. My Oma's mother had lost everything, and now her daughter had brought home a man worse than a Nazi, but my Oma could not forget him as the shape of her belly began to promise her. She had to find a future more certain than the words that couldn't hold her anymore. She was married. It was 1944. The war was not over, but she and her husband would leave when they could for America. My mother would be born in Kansas in 1949, and on her birth certificate, my Oma's name is misspelled Victory. My Oma was a housewife. Her family became something less than ghosts, left across an ocean she would never cross again, but on my mother's birth certificate, my Oma's name is Victory. And that's true, actually, and my mom didn't know that until she looked up her birth certificate a little while ago, because I asked her something, like she'd never known that it is spelled Victory. Can I stop now?
Give it up one more time for Abigail Carney. Wow. She said some things that kicked me in the gut. Oh, man, I need y'all to stop doing that. I did eat cake. All right. It's really good. It's called Better Than Sex Cake. It's very moist, like sex. It has chocolate, like my sex. But anyway, next coming up, I don't know the guitarist's name. Rusty and Carla Thomas. Carla T and Rusty coming to the stage. Give it up for them.
That's not good. Wherever Vertigo is, don't kill me. I didn't mean to bump the mic.
No, it's not. It's just loud.
No, relax, baby. It's okay. Who gave him the coffee? Oh, hi. Before we got here, we decided that our name was Rusty Fender and the Bolts. You get to figure out who's Rusty, who's the Fender, and who the Bolts are.
That's Carla, and that is Rusty. I'm not going to be able to get you, Rusty.
It's okay. I just lower your property values anyway. You don't want that.
There's no way we could be satisfied, but we just couldn't keep from trying. Late in the night, hear the doorbell ring, looking for my baby, couldn't find a doggone thing. Woman, I was troubled, I was all worried in my mind. There was no way you could be satisfied, but you just couldn't keep from trying. Feel like snapping a pistol in your face. I'm gonna let some graveyard love be your resting place. Woman, I was troubled. I was all worried in my mind. There was no way we could be satisfied, and I just couldn't keep from crying. Because things are just better with a blue steel guitar. Oh, thank you. We have some poems, too. Why not? Thank you. You know, there we go. I'm good. All right. Long ago, I had things memorized. Then I had a baby, and I don't have nothing left. That's all right. What happened? Okay. Oh. All right. When she was 5 and I was 6, we were two little yellow girls in the same class. Denise had a cute little afro, and my mom, terrified of using the same harsh relaxers on me that she wrestled with herself, mercilessly brushed my hair each morning, clipping it back tight with red plastic ribbon barrettes into a semblance of straightness. It was almost there, but not. We would hug each other and clap. Miss Mary Mac, 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 all dressed in black, 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 with silver buttons, buttons, buttons all down her, and fall into the grass laughing, playing with our same but different hair. I loved her then, but called it best friends for lack of understanding. Me not knowing why I hated Rhonda when she walked with her, or why I punched the boy who was there one day when I came to play. I was a first grader. I was pink dresses and long hair, a semblance of straightness. Almost there, but not. That's queer-like, right? Okay. There we go. I don't know why I'm struggling with that. There we go. The machines are taking over. Okay, there we go.
At one time or another, we all.
Isn't it slowly falling?
It is.
It's against me. It's adjusted for all the short people.
The city is a big ship. The water's on fire.
It's Andrew's conspiracy against me.
Yeah. That's from below.
So in one of my reincarnations, I was a bartender. And this is a poem about a woman that I met once and then I never saw again. But I really thought she should learn a lesson or two from another woman I knew named Laura. And so this poem is called Becoming Laura. I love you. We have just met and already I see the dampness behind your lips. Words meant to deceive me show how well you have tricked yourself. It was hard for you to come here tonight, the place you and your man used to come together. I'm not sure if anyone ever has or if you forgot how, but I love you. Fragile, rocking, bird-like tender, he, you think, has hurt you. He ran off with his little chickie poo, your words. And you imply that no man in their 50s should be dating someone 17 years younger than him, as old as his daughter even. Well, love knows no boundaries and lust has never even heard of them, so the months pass and your passing tears are words bitter on your tongue, and I love you. I feel your fear. Loneliness is too near to the skin, leaving scars across generational lines. I hear with ears not blind. It's a process, means I still miss him. I don't know what he sees in her, means fucking whore took my man. He felt bad that I made more money than him. Means I let him bleed me dry. Better to be brittle than alone, right? Right? I love you. Take off those glasses, paint your toenails fuchsia preferred, and get rid of that goddamn ponytail. You have played it safe for far too long. You have been a shadow of feminine possibilities, wishing to be modest. A woman in her 50s should dress tawdry and know how to shimmy. Should walk, hell, run from inexcusable mates. Should know how to masturbate a myriad of ways. Should be able to play poker and fix a toilet at the same time. Should still feel sorry for the chicky poos, not blessed with the knowledge that they, remarkable goddess of a woman, possess. I love you. Love you. You should take no shit, and if you do, well, a woman in her 50s should know better. See what I mean about the whole blue steel guitar? The one with, no. Jacob is actually working. You want to do poetry from across the counter, honey? Is that, I was going to do this little song first. I was just going to do that little song. All right, why not, you know? I guess I've been reincarnated a few times. So another lifetime I was married to a different man than the one who's making coffee for you guys tonight. And there are a few pieces that remind me, a few songs that remind me of that relationship and moving through it. So, I am walking out in the rain and I am listening to the loud moan of the dial tone again, and I am getting nowhere with you, and I can't let it go, and I can't get through. And the old woman behind the pink curtain in the closed door on the first floor, she's listening at the air shaft to see how long our swan song will last. In both hands, please use both hands. Oh no, don't close your eyes. I am writing graffiti on your body. I am drawing the story of how hard we tried. How hard we tried. And I'm watching your chest rise and fall like the tides of my life and the rest of it all, because your bones have been my bed frame and your flesh has been my pillow. I've been waiting for sleep to offer up the deep with both hands. Oh, with both hands. And in each other's shadows we grew less and less tall, and eventually our theories couldn't explain it all. And I'm recording our history now on the bedroom wall, and when we leave the landlord will come and paint over it all. And I'm walking out in the rain and I am listening to the loud moan of the dial tone again, and I am getting nowhere with you, and I can't let it go, and I can't get through. Both hands, please use both hands. Oh no, don't close your eyes. I am writing graffiti on your body. I am drawing the story of how hard we tried. How hard we tried. How hard we tried. Carla DeFranco.
You sound like a female Tracy Chapman.
Okay, first of all, don't you rag on my girl like that, okay? Tracy's a woman, sorta. I love her. Yellow is the color I feel when I think of you. It is the main hue in a photo that I could not throw away. Even when I was angry, even when it was easiest to blame all on you. While the poor lighting makes the picture seem from a distant time, everything about you, the wild hair, flashing smile, and surprised look as you walk away from the camera keeps you framed forever young on top of my bookcase. How often have I sat to write to you? Remember, I was famous for writing things that should have been covered with honest conversation. I sit again, pull out the paper, and the note produced is not to you. Instead, it is always a letter to my young husband, the man in a yellowing picture who played guitars in my heart, fingers nervously splayed over both sets of strings, the one who wrote letters and pure poetry just for me, with a passion apparently born from the muse you hoped I could be. My letter is always to that young man, the one I cannot forget. I want to cry my pities and my sorries into his hair, pity pressed against his ear. Forgive me for not knowing how to love you, lover, and forgive me as I have forgiven you. Whispering until my prayer is heard a decade into the past, understanding a girl's apologies for infidelities, for promises broken, for youth. And thank yous for loving me purely once, in innocence once. We not understanding how young we really were, we not knowing all the ways to wound a soul until you can't love it back to you again. How in ignorance, kind hearts can be so cruel to each other. I write this letter to you, my young husband, over and over again, crying over the page, over the years, over the girl I lost along with you. Crying, tears collecting over words, sentences drowned into fragments, running incomplete down the page together. Much like we did once, running incomplete together. Someone had to know it was wrong. Someone needed the strength to say it was over. So angry you were the someone first, grateful in the end that you were right. My microphone fell down. It's all right to laugh in the middle of a sad piece, right? There we go. We'll go ahead. This thing wants to aim up. That's what it is. How am I doing with time? Beautiful, because I have exactly one piece. This will work out lovely. Yeah, it's a 20-minute piece, but. All right. Let's just play it safe. Yeah. He won't let me come home. She spoke soft and quick. I remember my panic. How long had she been gone? He was a dealer. Where were her kids? Hadn't they just played with my son yesterday? She was a crackhead. Was she sneaking to make this phone call? What do you mean? Girl, where are you? Soft and quick, I gave him Sean's iPod to hold till I get my money, but I ain't got no more money. She wanted to get the device back. She wanted to show her son that she wasn't selling pieces of him for a fix, but she was. I repeated, where are you? I'll come get you. I never doubted my ability. I was the good mother. I was the teacher. Of course, this man was going to listen to me. I demanded, put him on the phone. So odd in retrospect that he did listen. You see, the man was just a simple-minded boy holding drugs for someone else with a few more brains than him. He told me he just needed the money, then they could all go home. I repeated this time for him, where are you? I found myself somewhere on the west side with a strung-out friend in the back seat and not-so-bright drug dealer in the front. I've been telling her we needed to go home, ma'am, that I just needed my money. What? Did he just call me ma'am? How old are you? 19, ma'am. This was followed by his one-sided confessional of the need to do something else, be something else. Maybe, he said, go to church more often. I took him back to his block, and it was familiar. I had taught around the corner from this block, and I knew who owned it. I looked back at my friend, looking out the back window, soft tears moving on a blank face. I wondered, does she have any idea how pretty it is today? I looked at the boy, and I said, tell him that Miss T said not to sell to her anymore. Tell him that this one belongs to me, okay? Okay, ma'am, as he moved out of the car. She stayed put, staring out the back window. She didn't want to move up front. I knew then, even if the man who was really a dumb boy had let her come home, she wouldn't have. I had lied to the boy, and she didn't belong to me. I wasn't enough to compete with what really owned her. I repeated, girl, where are you? Thanks. What? Oh, well, thank you. And y'all were like, damn amazing. That was cool to like come into. So.
Give it up one more time for Carla T. And Rusty. Y'all probably can't see me on Ustream. Can you see me? Is my face on the camera? All right, cool. All right. So next up, we're having an artist that goes by the name Official. So can you all officially give it up for Official? Official, wait, stop, stop it. Now all of you are going to lift up both your right and left hand, right and left toe, or right and left testicle, or if you don't have one, and clap for the next artist that is coming for the stage. Official. I'm pointing to you, clap, boy. Thank you. Okay, come on.
Just feel the love, thank you.
Yes.
All right, these are my backup singers.
Love doesn't get you there in Rexville.
This is my backup singer, Isis, and Scorpio.
Scorpio and Isis.
Yes.
Isis.
Okay, the first, this one right here, it's just to introduce myself to y'all, because I'm just now getting back into doing the poetry scene, and I just want to let y'all know what I'm about and only spit what I know. So this right here didn't really got no title. Just feel me, all right? All right, look. I was homeless before the 6th grade, out in these streets trying to get paid, but ended up on my back getting laid, trying to get some money so we could eat. 11 years old, I was in these streets, and everybody used to laugh at me. Every day I wore the same fit to class. I just went to school for the day to pass. Sometimes breakfast and lunch was all I had. Man, we had it so bad. Me, Divine, moms, no dad. Stepfather introduced her to crack. Home alone for days, not knowing where she at. Crying myself to sleep, wondering if she'd ever come back. Get up the next day, go to school looking like trash. No heat at home, so we used kerosene. No gas, so my clothes wasn't ever clean. Washing up in cold water at the bathroom sink. No hygiene products, so I still fucking stinked. You ever boiled bath water on a hot plate? Laid down on the mattress to dream of better days? Most time only dinner we had was tea. Lost count how many times birthdays and Christmas missed me. Sleeping up at Will Hill Park during that Alberta Clipper. Getting out the car to pee in the dead of winter. No help from the family and it hurts to remember. Homeless through the summers and homeless through the winters. Then they wonder why all I got for them is the middle finger. Sleeping in an old abandoned building, no lights, no gas, just 4 walls and a leaking ceiling. It's gonna be all right soon, them words gave me good feelings. My mom's reassurance made it easier for living. And sometimes I lay there in the dark and fake sleep and listen to my mother crying, Lord, please help me. And I cried with her because I knew her pain. She had me calling out to God and I was asking for the same. She worked hard and she saved till one day she finally found us a place. First month rent and deposit paid. $1,200 altogether what she gave. We went to KFC to celebrate. Finally, we was on our way to our own place. And when we got there, it was boarded up and it was getting late. Turns out it was a scam and we got played. So we headed back to that building on the RTA. And when we got there, the fire department was putting out the last of the flames. True story. Official. Yeah. Okay. You got it. The next one is called Help Me. All right, you ready? Got it? You need it? Anybody gave it to you? You got it? Help me. Oh, yes, go ahead. Come on, let's share the mic. Get over here. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in the ghetto.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I wanna change,
but
it's hard for me. To make it whole. Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trying to change,
but it's hard for me.
To let it go.
I'm trapped in the ghetto, man. I hate this place in life. Wrong choices I done made, oh man, I'm trying to get it right. Focused on my dreams, won't settle for nothing less. So many trials and tribulations, but I know it's just a test. Just a test. And sometimes I hold my head down because I think that I won't make it. Been through too much to give up now. Life taught me how to take it. I get on my knees and pray because the Lord will help me face it. It's never too late for changing, man, I'm trying. But when you at the bottom and facing the barrel seems the only option's dying. This my life, I refuse to give them caskets. I live by any means necessary to get assets, trying to find the road to success and gain access. But I can't do it by myself, so I swallow my pride and ask this.
Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in the ghetto.
I'm trapped in the ghetto.
I wanna change, but it's hard for me. To make it home. Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm
trying to change,
but it's hard for me. To let it go.
So many haters out there don't want to see me doing good. If I can't do it, neither can you. That's the mentality of the hood. But I know that I can make it if I kill on every turn. I just got to keep it moving, grow through my mistakes and learn. KIM, strike a match and let the past burn. Yeah, I know that this is easier said than done, but I'm going to do it anyway. Tired of living in these slums. There's a diamond in every rough, and I'm trying to shine. Tired of being on the block, just wasting my life. I'm tired of all the jokes just because I want to change. I'm tired of these bondages and tired of these chains. Tired of being trapped in the dope game. Every time I try to leave, the streets keep calling my name. This can't be as good as life is ever gonna get. This ain't the life for me. This ain't how I wanna live.
Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in the ghetto.
I'm trapped in the ghetto.
I wanna change, but it's hard for me. To make it home. Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trying to change, but it's hard for me. To let it go.
I'm applying myself and making progress every day. As I pursue happiness, trouble tries to block the way. I push on with resilience and push against the tide. When life knocks me down, I get on up and keep on trying. Cause I know that I'ma make it to the other side. Where dreams are achieved and not just realized. Where doors are opening, opportunity is kept in the ghetto for a minute and I ain't met them yet. Don't just hold and hoard your dreams. Persevere to succeed. Nothing in life worth doing ever comes with ease. You ain't gotta stay trapped. I know it's hard to break free. Never be afraid to ask somebody, help me, please. Never be afraid to ask somebody, help me, please.
Help me.
Trapped in the ghetto.
I'm trapped in the ghetto. I wanna change,
but it's hard for me. To make it home. Help me.
Help me.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I'm trapped in this ghetto.
I wanna change,
but it's hard for me.
How much time I have? Thank you. 9 minutes. I got one real fast one, and then she's gonna go and do it. That's enough time for you. All right, yo. Thank you. This one ain't got no title, but I love it because it's my favorite. It's like my testimony. So be like, hard times like a mattress minus the box spring. Dirty clothes minus the washings. New day, same jeans, same shirt, same animosity, same hurt. Different hood, same dirt. On the same block with the same work. Gave my life to Christ, new beginnings and new birth. Fellowship and edification, new worth. Used to be last, now first. Soul saved, no hearse. Death has no hold and there's no worse. Growth daily in his word. Soul cleansed and mind purged. My salvation goes into perpetuity. Hedge of protection, nothing you can do to me. My soul has immunity. Evangelist is how he's using me. Why he died is news for thee. Jesus taunted, tortured, and crucified upon the tree. On the old rugged cross at Calvary, where all sins are forgiven thee. Oh, to that cross I shall forever cling. The melody in my heart shall forever ring. See, it's like fire shut up in my bones because Jesus, you are worthy of all praise alone. Praise him who sits on the most high throne in worship, in art, in song, in tithe, in offering, in thanksgiving, and poem.
Okay, this is called I'm Sorry. I feel like I'm dreaming, so I keep my eyes closed. But when I open my eyes, I see those that are in front of me. I'm like, this can't possibly be. I swear I heard one of my babies calling out mommy. And it's crazy because I don't even have my kids. And I wish that I did, but I don't. And I hope that I will, but I probably won't. And if you think that I'm playing, just hear out what I'm saying. I lived a messed up life, and this is how I'm repaying. They say the cost of sin is death, and that's the word that I drive. And I swear I will ride. Because every time I lost a baby, on the inside I died, and yes, I cried. But tears are nothing compared to losing your soul. And I think that's his goal, to take all that I got. And tell him my heart, he knows, he holds every spot. And yes, I love him a lot, but there were multiple times where I put my babies first, and that's a biblical crime, and so I'm sorry for not calling out Abba in times of need and times of love, for not thinking of my Father who watches me from up above, who makes sure I'm all right, who brings light into my day and puts angels at my bedside to protect me through the night. I said I'm sorry for my lack of knee bending and my lack of hand clasping. I'm sorry for my dimness, but I think I'm finally grasping the message that you've been trying to send. My life ain't start off great, but that's how I wanted to end, so I'm sorry. This ain't the way nobody should be living, so I'm down on bended knee praying to thee, and I hope I will be forgiven. I swear I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sorry, yeah, sorry, yeah. I said I'm sorry, sorry. I said I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. Lord, I'm sorry.
Abigail paid for it. You said you wanted to stop. Alrighty, so I would like for you all to give it up for Precious one more time. Give it up for Precious. Give it up for... I mean, who is Precious? I mean, give it up for Official. Look, that's the name your mama gave. You better be proud of your name. Your mama gave you that forever. All right. I am going to do a piece that someone named Shelly asked me to do. I'm going to do this piece. This is an edited version. This name of this piece, very near and dear to my heart. I keep it right here sometimes over here, but close to a nipple. This poem is called Joey. Named Joey. Joey is a magnet with two broken poles. Squeezing the nose of his stuffed panda bear Peter helps them to stop pushing against each other. Joey smiles while crying, runs when he's tired, smashes anger into purple Play-Doh. He was one of my camp kids, with a big campfire heart and more burnt marshmallows than he could count. We skipped over the green tiles in the hallways he named Forest, in the softest voice I ever heard a third grader use. Forest of dinosaurs, chimpanzees, tigers, and panda bears. George of the Jungle arms, Tarzan legs. He was too much George, though. He kept smashing into things with his feet or his fist or a chair. But Joey was cool. He had an Al Capone shrug to him. Yeah, too much St. Valentine's Day massacre in those clavicles, so we took broomsticks and played Quidditch instead. He, Harry Potter, me, Dumbledore, in a caution cone wizard's hat. We flew broomsticks. He was too much George, though. He kept smashing into the other kids with his feet or his fist or a chair. They were forests to him. Smash! Timeout corner. Panda Bear's nose. Purple Play-Doh. Calm down, Joey. Calm down, Joey. Joey, you can't keep mistaking the other kids' bellies for purple Play-Doh. I've told you. He stared. Eyes of a foreclosed home, lips pale, teeth yellow from nervous brushing. He wore death better than any other third grader I knew. No fun here. Throwing recyclables from today's lesson, paper clips from the art class, and Uno cards from the recreation activity at your camp counselor is, Joey, I'm not gonna let you hit me. So he danced instead, punched at me twice, kicked, swing dance, giggled red with rage, tickled me pink, and I held him. I held him like a baby, the way he held his stuffed panda bear Peter. Holding him was like holding campfire, like boiling water, like the rapture enraptured his bones, like holding an atomic bomb. I'm sure his mom didn't think she was creating anything wrong at the time, as if she wrote Hiroshima's obituary in chemical equations herself. I'd only known Joey for a week. But if God can create the earth in 7 days, then soft spots on the heart, like a newborn's fontanelle, can be created in the same time. Joey, where'd you go, Joey? Joey. Joey is joy if I can call him fast enough. In the beginning, God created the earth, and on the last day, he didn't rest. He made a soul that was too big for Joey's body, so he only put half of it in. He's not bipolar, he's missing half of his spirit. Joey is a magnet with two broken poles, and I am selfish. I deserve the timeout corner for using you to write this poem, Joe, but we wrote this together in brown Sharpie and in green forest. We wrote this together in caution cone colored wizards hats. We wrote this together in purple Play-Doh. Dear Joey, you are special. Never compromise who you are, even when this world won't dance with you. That's it. Thanks for liking my poems. All right, next up to the stage is one of my team members. He also has a big family man. He's the 2008 Cleveland Poetry Slam Grand Slam champion. He has 2 poetry albums available. One of them is on the table next to the Better Than Sex cake. If you want to get one, you gotta talk to him afterwards. He goes by the name Fatal Prose. Give it up for Fatal Prose, y'all. Here he comes. Fatal Prose and his daughter Isis.
La 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 la
what I won't do.
I don't what I would, but I wanted to.
I could, but I did not. It's my prerogative.
But if I'm not what I am, how is it my life to live?
Drowning in decisions is the water of life.
But if I cannot swim, how is it I decide?
I'm sinking in my thinking, dreaming truth I'll find.
Am I expediting peace or committing suicide?
Ooh, it's like falling in love when you need to fly.
It's like walking in rain, but you can't cry.
It's like calling out to God, but you don't know his name.
Talking in a language I know.
Your language your own. It's like scenes I already seen in a dream. The streams my conscience drinks from are running shallow.
My soul is hollow and my body is a 45.
They're both aimed at my temple, and I'm mortified.
Why am I me when I see what it is I could be?
Wind blows the sound, and the sound blows your brains out.
'Cause windows are bound by the sands they are made of.
So when is one who makes us? As if there's one salvation, and we are just one poem that God wrote down in different places.
I'm not me, I'm merely someone else.
And I'm not free, I'm freezing in my hell.
I've been broken down by the sounds that I made up.
'Cause if verbs and nouns are so bound by who says what,
then when is what who makes us? 'Cause if there's one salvation, then we are just one poem that God wrote down in different pages.
Maybe that's why I can't say what I mean.
Maybe that's why I can't say what I dream.
Reality, 'cause reality is actually a fallacy.
And a fallacy is a place where words can't breathe.
La 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 la. My song, I hear it wrong, homeless tones of atonement, gone and
falling, 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 falling.
'Cause what is my word to God?
'Cause what is my word to God?
That's the whisper in his mouth.
My promises are pronounced dead.
My prayers are like a stillborn child,
conceived in sin and imperfect.
Give it up for Isis, y'all. Thank you, baby. I'm on Candid Camera.
It's not Candid, you on Ustream, bro.
Hey, what's up, Ustream? I don't even know what that is. Okay. Life is a race against time that nobody wins. Some just take longer to sin, but time runs out on us, or the time outruns us. Like my mother's boyfriend tamed Burby father. Time is a deadbeat dad always digging in somebody's pockets with no job or general purpose. He's a worthless excuse for a man indeed. Time abandons us in a time of need, just when we're beginning to see some semblance of a family. Time forgets us, push us into the corner of existence, insisted we shut up while he continues in nothing, watching television and getting drunk, lost in false realities of himself and what time could have been. And since we remind time of what time should have been, he buries at the bottom of a bottle of sand. We break our necks to count on them. Time flies, whether we having fun or not. Sometimes off of the mouth, sometimes with his hands, sometimes out of the house completely. And everything is moving so fast that we can't even tell that time is passing. Time makes us age beyond our years from the fights and fallouts and fears of being woke up in the middle of the night with time outside, cussing us out about how we take time for granted. We don't appreciate what time has done for us, as if time could heal our wounds, as if everything a good time. And that's when he starts running to the side door with his body, and we hear the wood splintering as we hurry to hold fast to the refrigerator. We tie to the kitchen door, because when it's cold, time moves slow. And all I can think about is my little sister. What will time do to her if we give it time? But how can she escape him? She was born from his seed, his blood runs through her veins, and already can see it. The same apathy, the same lack of ambition, the same hopeless potential trapped behind a smile. While I'm running from time with my eyes closed, my shoes untied, no less, running toward a future that may or may not exist, scratching and kicking and tripping over myself, trying to keep time away from me, because the police never come on time. So time has all the time in the world to choke the life of me, and I can hear it every day. Even when it feels like time is standing still, he's still watching every move I make, waiting for the best time to strike. I walk to school paranoid, thinking time will jump out from behind a tree, or ride by on his motorcycle, and just kick in the door of my 5th grade classroom, because time waits for no one, not even himself. So what's an 11-year-old boy? He has no patience. He wants success now, or forget that broad unemployment line. Then it's back to laying on mother's couch, singing that same tired love song about how things would be different this time. But time never changes. He just repeats the same game in different languages, always crying about his story and how life has been unfair to him. We're the ones who suffer most from his endless yesterdays. And there were so many days I wanted time to end. I prayed patiently, waiting for time to die. And when God's hand didn't come down to smite man for his crimes, I regretted life and wished for death, because my mind, life, and time seemed inseparable. He just wouldn't let us go. Thank you. Oh, geez. How are y'all doing out here? This is a 24-hour. What hour are we on, Hakeem? We on hour 3. Oh wow, we got a long way to go. Okay. I hope y'all brought some coffee from over there, because y'all need to be awake. Pillow, yeah, comforter, all that good stuff. She's so sweet. That's my daughter. Yeah, my daughter. Is she named yet? I'm on Ustream. I'm not saying my daughter's name on the internet. You crazy? Hey, I love, no disrespect, Ustream, but, oh. You're not going to say it on the mic after
No, I'm not. That's a nice name.
This is an unfinished piece I'm going to bounce off of y'all. Let me know what you think. Teach me waterfalls. Show me the folly of rain attempting to fly. At least then I'll know that fate is a thunderstorm and I can refrain from trying. That doves are just as bloodthirsty as birds of prey, and I can abstain from crying when one of them falls away. When one of them arbitrarily decides to drop an atom bomb on an unborn baby, tell me it's an act of kindness and not genocide. But tell me kindness is a high-powered rifle that leaves a clean exit wound. Tell me kindness is a sniper rifle fitted with a silencer, perfect for killing people peacefully while keeping a safe distance. At least then I'll know not to be kind to anyone unless I mean to do them harm. What am I learning here? That two-way streets with one-way signs cause accidents deliberately. That it's better to have a scientific calculator than a beating heart in this world, even in the church. Even on Sunday, people are one way one day, and the next it's like yesterday never existed. That everyone is a hypocrite. It's just that some are professionals and some are ranked amateurs. And the collateral damage done to the young in Christ is either their fault, beyond control, or someone else's problem. When egos collide and pride is a code word, password to unlock somebody's dirty secrets. When conversations are just opportunities to clean your gun, and we don't listen like we used to. We just let you talk while we reload our own underneath the table. Tell me I'm growing and not becoming bitter. Tell me this is all some elaborate exercise for my own good. Tell me the sky is green and the grass is blue and who I am and what I feel is invalid and untrue. Just don't tell me to believe you. Oh, thank you. Y'all like that. That's cool. This is another kind of unfinished piece. I'll bounce this off you. Suicidal poems stand on the edge of my tongue, 4 letters from jump, and I feel like joining them. If only I could follow my words so closely. A sky full of shooting stars, and I'm chasing them down on a bicycle that's too small for my own body. The chain keeps popping, and there's not enough air in my tires. I'm an out-of-breath, overweight, pot-belly version of myself, watching my own clever catchphrases whiz past me, flashes of brilliance that brighten the horizon for the few sparse moments I'm on stage and then fade to black into the blackness of my midnight reality. My poetry is Superman and I'm kryptonite. With words I can outrun bullets, punch through walls, rearrange the fabric of time with my bare hands, but always for other people, never for me and mine. Because me and mine is a planet from another sun entirely, a planet full of broken bicycles and shot down stars, a place full of terminal towers and terminal illnesses that don't go away with the spotlight. Here words on endowed with superpowers to save the world. They're just ordinary people. Nah, not yet. Not gonna do that one yet. Cool. I keep a phoenix flying over the microphone inside my head, reciting a breeze deep into the sky that holds its wings, while hurrying to scribble down its flight pattern, capturing the wind in my hand like a secret, like a bumblebee bouncing from word to word like flower petals, pollinating orchids as I organize my thoughts into a flock of eagles, a squadron of fighter jets, until I'm in the cockpit of a Tomcat hitting the skyward with my afterburner, thrusting through a cloud of confusion and busting out the other side, spitting sidewater missiles like similes, my mind set on fire, spitting into a vertical climb so high the oxygen room becomes an endangered species. Because reciting poetry is like learning how to breathe in outer space, like touching a star without burning your fingertips, like filling a void between your spirit and the kingdom of God with the light. We camouflage your sound. So if you find me in the back of the room talking to myself, I am not possessed by demons. I am not having an epileptic seizure. Poetry is my imaginary friend. And when I write it, I'm driving in a midnight blue sonata with poetry sitting shotgun, using my rhyme because of the atlas weaving in and out of traffic, spitting down freeways to freestyles and free minds backwards, using the past as my rearview mirror, the future's my windshield, gripping the pen like a steering wheel, doing donuts in the parking lot ideas until the skip marks start to look like crop circles on asphalt, and rhymes become unidentified flying objects thrown from the crash like shrapnel. So if you find me in the bottom of a 20-car pileup on a turnpike, don't slow down and pretend like you're calling an ambulance. I'm perfectly fine. This is how I embrace my inner child. These words are my amazing magic Lego set, and I can build planes that can fly in an astral plane or skyscrapers of emotion, only that we're both at the same time and land in two totally different places. It's just how I like to wake up in the morning, between two extremes, dazed and confused, not knowing whether I'm waking or still dreaming. And poetry is that coffee killing me softly like too much caffeine and not enough sleep. So if you find me in an insane asylum, I'm not crazy. I just forgot how to blink. About the same time I remembered how to think. In order for the ink to dry and come back to life, something else has got to die. In order to fly, you got to learn how to crash and rise from the ashes. So at night, I picture my pencil as a pistol. When I write, I play Russian roulette with my thoughts until I blow my brains out, only to watch it rebound off the wall and back into my skull. Until I'm somewhere between heaven and hell, reciting a love poem I wrote for purgatory. Because struggle only strengthens my testimony. And when everything is going haywire, it just wraps my words in barbed wire. See, I like my poems so jagged that when spoken, they cling to a person's lungs, like mute metal spiders that poisonous silk webs that paralyze the audience. And when it's done off the stage, it's like watching a suicide victim come back to life. The poet literally takes themselves apart, physically self-destructs phrase by phrase, spontaneously combusts, and still manages to walk off stage. Now that's my type of magic. Stuff me into a cannon and light a match. I'll turn my soul into a Roman candle, brighten the midnight sky with my burning ashes, and still be dancing at the grand finale like nothing happened, like everything happened but nothing mattered. Because every poem is just a problem playing hide-and-seek in the background, and every problem is just a poem playing hide-and-seek in the background, and every poet is the alchemist with a flashlight, a getaway driver with headlights, a kamikaze fighter pilot with a time bomb strapped to his chest, and a shirt that says, "To give life meaning is to give that life and meaning death." And that's the only way I know how to cheat anything else. All right. Huh? Oh, wow. Coincidental ironies continue. All right, so we got a lot of writers, and I'm sure you guys know a lot of words. So I'm going to use your words in your minds real quick, if that's okay. You think it's a bad place to do it? No, you can do it. I can do it? Oh, yeah. All right, we'll try and do it. It's okay. Okay, all right, we're going to try and write a poem together. And I don't know how this is going to turn out. Sometimes it turns out to be horrible, and sometimes it's okay. So I'm going to be the pen. You guys be like the dictionary thesaurus, word wizards that you are. When I point to you, just say the first word that comes to mind. If you say the second or third or fourth word, it's not going to work. Think too long about it, it's going to be corny. But there's been a few times where something magical happens and we actually do it right. So, and I hope I don't mess it up either. Okay. So we need a topic of the poem that we're going to create, some type of subject, some thesis that can hold everything else together. So you look like you have thesis on your tongue. No uhs. Uhs not allowed. Or were you saying that is the topic of the poem? Okay, is the topic of this poem. All right. We don't have quite a word, but it's a sound, so All right, so word please. Fireworks are like bombs exploding in my nostrils, yellow starbursts on my Kleenex. Okay, you, sir. What? What is what? What becomes what? What is what is what was what will be 'cause Einstein, the theory of relativity. My relatives are theoretically next to me, but yet and still, I am far away. And we are seeing ourselves in relationships. Straw. Man, Michael Jackson, Scarecrow, Tito. Yes. What was that? Duplicity is a word that I don't know what it means, but it sounds really complex. What was that? What? Quesadilla. Tastes good, but don't eat the beef because it's only 25% real. Dichotomy of your lobotomy and the anatomy of something else that rhymes with tragedy because we are all bombastically coming together. What was this poem about? Fortress in my mind because I'm deep. Peacock is... Oh, can't say that in this room. Moving on. What was that? Gifted. Beauty is deaf. Beauty cannot hear you because it's visual. You see beauty with your eyes, but I hear ugly with my words. What? Defecate. Yes. Bathroom is back there. You want to defecate? Defecate back there. Thanks. Thanks? Dance. That's not part of the poem. You back there. No, you only have 3 words per round, sir. I saw what you did to me yesterday, Tuesday, whatever day that was. He hit me with about 25 words in a row. Okay, back to the poem. Foundation is the sensations we feel when we come together as one, a pyramid of love forming an apex of something next to the sky, which we find reasons why, meaning what? Where did he go? Where did what go? What? Where is what? Where is what? Where did what go? Probably outside. Duplicity. Defecate sitting there. What went outside? Right. All right, yeah, we'll stop there. That was fun. Okay. Okay, one person in the back enjoyed it. I understand. It's okay. Okay, we got time for a couple more poems. Give me some feedback on this one. This is a poem I wrote to hip-hop. It wound up being written to hip-hop heads. But I'm trying to keep hip-hop from committing suicide, and that's what it's about, but it still needs work. One day I'll finish it. It ain't worth it, take it from me. I know you aching for freedom, and every day seems like it's breaking in pieces. You're in a basement of feelings, basically feeling like your faith hit a ceiling, and this place is just a grave for your dreams. That's why you can't get enough sleep. But trust me, discover your thinking. Every person has got a purpose. Every life has a meaning. Everybody has got a future. Some just choose not to see it. The sole reason you have bad luck is because you believe in it. I believe every second's a second chance. I resurrect with every breath that's left. When my chest expands, it flips depression into expression. And every phrase is a separate way to success. When you place an oppression, time is money, money is time. Make an investment. More or less, if you have less, it's a lesson. If you have more, it's a test. Whether you poor or you rich or cold in a corner and homeless, living moment to moment, you got hope. Because who knows what God will show you tomorrow. If I had any reward in this life, it's only because I sold it in sorrow. Life is not a lotto, it's a bottle of probable cause, and all you got to do is unscrew it and lock it and drop it. I'm not an optimist, but please be positive. Let's pretend if God was watching, your father was talking. We ain't got to die, man. Don't start shooting. Just give me the coat and we can go do something. Because you can get through this. Just thinking the child that died in the womb, that could have been you. Trust me. Just put the gun down. Listen to yourself, man. Listen to this music. I know it seems like persistence is useless and every street that intersects in a city must be a crucifix. You're losing your patience like hospitals losing their patience, so fusing the confusion of these numerous days. Like, don't do it. Consider your doings and ways the truth of revolution. That's what music is based on. We lay songs to escape darkness and right wrongs. We write songs to escape darkness because writer's block is life thought of without the light of God, and we all novelists trying to live out our autobiographies. I know what you're thinking. The more you know, the less you believe. But believe me, I know I couldn't quote you in scripture, but you gotta have a story to finish. Skip this boring ending. Explore the corridors of this enormous dimension and start forming the sentence. But what's forming the sentence if nobody listens? I don't get it. You'll pay admission but won't pay me attention as if liquor was too inexpensive on Kinsman or something. I mean, forget it. It's nothing. I won't mention the subject. How many people in the house listen to hip-hop and love it? Yeah. You're too late. Keep fronting. Bleed breath from your lungs. I'm saying if you don't like people, don't come out in public. Lose the address to the club. Stay at home and get drunk. You'll be addicted to drugs. I'll be addicted to substance. I'm sick of stuffy, stuck-up, snuffleupagus mother suckers who come to a function just to upchuck on their stomach. And they holler how coppers on crutches, cuss for a couple of hours. They want to shout out how the album is coming. I'm not coming down on you, but what I found in you is the same problem surrounding you. You can't think outside your box if you can't think outside your block. Think outside your Glock. My rhymes are guns. My time is funds. I spend every minute. You have to be a man to handle your minutes because you're a man acting like you're on menopause. And you ain't got holes in your drawers. But that's okay though, because I just want to rhyme. It's all that I got. Think outside of your block, because who knows, by the next show I might get shot. Because who knows, by the next show you might get shot. Because who knows, by the next show these bombs might drop. That's the end of that poem. How many more minutes I got? Got 4 minutes. I got another hour? I can sit down if I want to? I have permission to sit down, so I'm going to leave you nice people about 2.5 minutes early, but I want to let you know that I sincerely love each and every one of you. And if you'd like to see me at that table, I do have product for sale. Thank you very much.
The cake is free. You know that. Hi, guys. Well, okay, so our next poet is a... somebody cover the children's ears, please. Just cover them real quick. Cover her ears. Is a sex writer from Pennsylvania. She's not... I understand. I'm letting them know. Thank you. You can uncover them now. She's from Pennsylvania. She writes... naughty poetry. So or if you want to take the children outside when she comes on, we're still waiting for her to get on her Skype. And her time is supposed to start in exactly 2 minutes. But in the interim of that, I was going to read a poem, but there are children in the room. Have you heard the Mandingo poem? Take the children. Just right outside, that'd be fine. You have the teenagers to take kids. That's why you have teenagers. All right. Why? All right, I'm going to come get you guys when it's over. But yeah, just hang outside. We have plenty of time. But she's not here by 11. We got to give up that computer because it's Autumn's and she got to go. Vertigo. You heard me. All right. I'm going to read a poem for you guys. One that's not as heavy as the ones we've been listening to. Huh? What? Who are you talking to, Vertigo?
Something you scheduled at 1 a.m.
Ah, okay. This poem is called Mandingo Dick. Don't like it. It's okay. Hey guys, do you need to feel more confident? Do your skills in the bedroom leave your wife fantasizing about President Obama? Is your penis too small for your body? Do you often lose it while doing everyday mundane tasks like showering, masturbating, or having a group orgy with Asian whores with a giggle fetish? Do your friends often get you birthday gifts of a magnifying lens and tweezers, leaving you bitter and confused? Do you often hear questions such as, is it in yet? Were you born physically female and really? Where If so, I have the product for you. It's called Mandingo Dick. Dingo, 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 dingo. Now, you can feel what black men have been feeling for years. Trust me, we used to have ours sliced off and pickled. If that doesn't shout admiration, I don't know what does. Just ask Jasper, Texas. Take that Porsche convertible that you've been overcompensating for and feel the wind in your hair and your genitals. Finally, flashing old ladies will no longer be offensive. It's a public service now. With more flesh comes more confidence. Just ask the cast of 16 and Pregnant. Your new penis has many uses. Swat flies. Smack yourself in the face with it. Swat flies while smacking yourself in the face with it. What's wrong, former short dick man Jake? Not quite adjusting to your newfound self-esteem? Well, then try our new vitamin supplement. Porno Star. Porno, porno, porno. Now you too can ejaculate on Lawrence Fishburne's daughter from a mile away like Brian Pumper, the man who ate G-Unit. Get that promotion at work. Get your wife to stop fucking the pool boy. Finally please your secretary. Use it as a sushi platter. All this can be yours with fish smell, a $50 value, absolutely free. With 10 easy payments of $9.99.99, your firstborn daughter, and 1 testicle. Order today. Dignity and self-respect sold separately by 2,000 hours of group therapy or God. Mandingo. Dingo. 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 Dick. Offer not valid if you are uncircumcised. Abigail doesn't like that poem. That just makes me like it more. Dingo berries. All right. Has Miss Levangie popped up yet? No. All right. Levangie, we need you to come and read your sexy poems in like the next 10 minutes if you can come. If you're anywhere around on Ustream. All right, guys. So I guess in the interim, I can open the mic up if somebody has something they'd like to share. Open wide. You got poems? You don't read them? You have a whole book. You don't read your poems? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we'll be doing that then. Autumn. Come on, get up here.
That you're going to do now because there's no children here. What the fuck? All right, so wow. What should I do, Abigail? 5 to 9? No. I don't remember Vipers. What the fuck? Okay. Soon as the sun breaks the horizon, she's up again. Calloused hands kissing a wooden cross worn with too many prayers. Struck to its core, but still she wears it. Carries it like the father. She never imagines the mother whose image is black and blurred with alcoholic patriotic passion. She works in the kitchen of some rich white male whom she barely understands, but she knows. Cook, clean, leave, sleep, a routine set by 15 years of broken skin, 5 to 9. And 5 children too late for that childhood stripped away under the floorboards of a van crossing the Mexican border. She was young once, but never had that childhood she should have, with her mother cradling 3 children etched into her mind, another in the army, and last, a girl named Marlena, stuck in the same lifestyle she lived, an abusive father and the maculadoras calling. She didn't dream of boogeymen. She knew enough already who came to her home slamming against rotting wood. She covered her ears, but couldn't block her mother's screams, her father's voice cracking like splintering wood. Marlena. Pregnant at 13 by a man 15 years older than her, knew she had to leave, but didn't know this journey would break the last crystal in her heart. She lies under the floorboards of her chariot, lies as still as she can, listening to the cries of a mother giving birth to bodies beside her, smells the stench of human waste. For 10 days she lay exposed to things I've only read about at 13. She walked through a tunnel, stepping on the flesh of those who couldn't make the journey she was attempting to, bones crushing under her small frame, the smell of their blood, trapped in the only thing standing between Marlena and the freedom her child deserves. Imagine walking into a country not knowing the language, not knowing anyone but the husband 5 states away, and the child growing in your stomach. Marlena had walked from El Salvador to Mexico, crossed the tunnel underground into America, and could still find no place she was safe. Couldn't find a job or a home or avoid the MS-13's eyes set on her heritage, so she ends up in Cleveland, now cradling 2 children, and she can't seem to find how the so-called land is free. And she can't seem to find the man she married at 13 past the alcohol in his fist and the bruises on her skin, or the culture in her children who throw up gang signs and speak in tongues. And Marlena has nightmares of bones crushing under her toes each night as the boogeyman still knocks on her door. She walks home in cold winter nights. 5 children too late, 30 years gone, and she wonders if freedom is like the illusion of floorboards on Mexican vans, or the sounds that these Americans claim to be language. She opens the door to this home, falls asleep to the sounds of sirens, and awakes to the 5 to 9 cycle again.
Thank you, Autumn. Coming up to the stage next is 2011 Poetry Slam Dragon Inc. member and surprised-looking man with green hair in the back. Oh, okay. Well, Andrew Tobias Line will be coming up shortly. Until then, please enjoy this commercial, a.k.a. no one standing at the mic for about 5 minutes. AKA, please welcome Abigail Carney back to the stage.
So I was going to do this one earlier, and it is called To the Girl Whose Boyfriend I Am Fucking. I don't know your I don't know your name. I remember it being something average, Ashley or Kristen or Sarah. The name of a girl who has a boyfriend and gets cheated on. Your eyebrows are thin and you are too, but your boobs are bigger than mine. He's fucking me anyway. I know I shouldn't feel bad because dicks wouldn't exist if there weren't places to put them, but he got a girl pregnant last summer and she wasn't you that time either. Mostly I feel bad that you can't realize it means something when your Facebook status says in a relationship and his doesn't say anything. You'd probably hate me if you knew, or at least want to. Don't, because believe me, Ashley, Kristen, Sarah, there's not too much I'm taking from you. He texts me for 3 reasons: to feign enough interest to keep seeing me naked. Usually this extends to a full, hey, what's up? To see if he can see me naked this moment, but don't worry. I believe the sharing of nude cell phone pictures is sacred, so I leave those to you. Third is to see when we get to see each other naked, usually between the hours of 1 and 3 a.m. When it happens, do not hate me, we turn the lights off. So we might pretend it's a different girl each time he does not use my name. All I take away is a little bit of cum his body will remake anyway, and one time of him jacking off to bad internet porn. Do not think I want you to feel bad for me. Neither he or I expects to stay the night, and neither of us would want to anyway. He leaves being able to love you more, tell you all the things he won't tell me, knowing he will never leave you. I get to go to sleep without the loneliness of falling asleep in another's arms, knowing that physical closeness doesn't matter because we're all alone when we shut our eyes to death or sleep. And you can be buried next to your husband, but it doesn't mean anything except that the insects will eat away your coffins at the same time. Maybe it symbolizes some greater bond I forgot after my last relationship, one where neither of us cheated. And I loved him past sleep, quick encounters past anything, but that thing of perfection is a whole lot harder than it is to let your boyfriend fuck me. Knowing exactly what I'm getting, enjoyment and no worries about whether or not our relationship is purely physical, it is. Kristen, Ashley, Sarah, he will not leave you. There is no reason. He gives you all you need and gets all he needs. Know he'll forget my name someday. Know that I don't mind. Fucking each other is perfect the way love can never be. Lets your relationship feel almost perfect. The way his wanting would never be monogamous.
Host have to pee too. I was in my office. I had to finish some paperwork. I was in the bathroom using toilet paper. All right. I'll be... Yeah, the tea... I was not taking a dump, okay? I just went to go look at my hair, okay? Okay? Anywho, without further ado, please give it up for my teammate and green-haired friend, Andrew Tobias Line.
Hi. Or not so much. Oh, I meant the microphone. This feels very wobbly. Meh. Kind of what? I thought you said something about sober, and I was like, yeah. There have been drunken poetry marathons. Snow-a-tree was fun in the middle of the night. So I'm excited about this now. This poem is like 5 seconds rewritten, as in I didn't get the last stanza on the page before Akeem decided to tell me I was up here. No. So we'll see how it goes. You guys are the first ones to hear the new version. Yay. I'm being the only white person on the bus. Doors slid open, giving way to brick walls. I stepped into a world secluded from the other passengers. It zipped me up like protective bubble mist mortar. It invisibly labeled me other, not just from color or lack thereof, but seeping from every carefully selected identifying factor, doubling as bullseyes for fists dipped in misguidance. Sharp eyes digging at my epidermis is not a new phenomenon. An overheard phone conversation elicits confrontation, wrapped in shaking hands and hardened tongue. What do you know about struggle, white boy? She growls at me, and I'm struck by our separateness. Genetically induced islands zip us both into bubbles that divide us from the rest of the world and from each other. Because in this modern incarnation of communicating paradigms and heartbeats, black and transgender are synonymous with unacceptable, except my skin is painted in private, with testosterone and needlepoint paintbrushes, with pennies strictly counted and sequestered into a gaping savings account for international scalpel-built castles in the sky. But for all our separate, There is oneness here. I too know the taste of indiscriminate tears dispensed by those who ought to know better. I too have seen the fear that if they touch me, my disease might rub off on their fingertips. My people were never enslaved, but my brothers and sisters are still being slaughtered. Our brothers and sisters are still being slaughtered. How far we've come. What a peculiar evolution, trapped in our individualized ghettos. I will never understand what's in the hearts of these men, how being different translates to we should not exist. Minority is not a swear word. We are not a stain to be shrugged out of the flag. My mom used to tell me that God got bored with white, so we started painting people different colors to make the world beautiful. I feel as though if I were to reach out and grasp her hand, cold brick would touch cold brick in place of skin. So instead, I meet her eyes deeply, stowing walls and closets for the longest second in memory and say, honey, I breathe too. Yes. It's done? It's done? I'm asking you. Slam Master. I think it needs some detail cleanup. Yes. Okay. Where am I going? I'm gonna do a poem that I got sad about in the rewrite and never finished. So I'm gonna give you the first version. I haven't done this in forever. I like it, but it was just like too much at the time to rework, so. This is called Gender Dysphoria. I have come to a place where writing isn't providing sanctuary anymore. These words do not change anything. They do not alter my course or satiate my agony. And like the bottle, when I'm done, I'm still the same person I was when I started. Were my words a knife, I would write for hours, each syllable cutting my skin into little pieces and rearranging them into something tolerable so that when I look in the mirror, I remember to hate myself less. Pretty eyes, girly lips, tits, and hips would be eagerly devoured by my hungry ballpoint scalpel, and if I could, I'd thrust words into intolerant mouths. I'd drown every ma'am in a sea of bloody tear-stained ink. I'd jam my pen down their throats and write "sir" on their voice boxes. I'd cut out the cerebrum and replace it with a vial of testosterone. Were my words currency, I would leave this place, buy a plane ticket to tolerance where no one knows my name and start over. If metaphor could birth love, I'd strip away the layers of nuance wrapped in afterbirth that build and folds in all the wrong places. I'd tear down the confusion that estranges us and wipe away the hesitance in your hand and the tremor in your eyes when you reach to touch me as if I were something gross. If my pen spoke with the voice of God, it would whisper in the margins of my mother's Bible, calling her back to the greatest of these is love. Love conquers all things. God is love, love. But these are just symbols of torment, scratched onto paper, not explosives. These words do not move mountains, despite what preachers, teachers, friends, and family have told me, so I'm stuck here. Change the circumstance in this unwilling tomb of a body with pretty eyes, girly lips, tits, and hips. I'm coming down from my bottle of pretty diction and getting back to my point, grinding my teeth and already looking for another useless fix. And on that wonderful note, we're going to do my other trans poem. I love you. I love you too. This is called Catalyst, and it's for a woman who was murdered in Arizona on back in March, Markel Ty. Markel was only 25. On the morning of March 8th, between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m., They shot her twice, dragged her body down the highway under their car, and dumped her on the side of the road. And even in her death, the media didn't have the decency to grant her the last dignity of using the correct pronouns. A man wearing women's clothes was found dead, they said, as if somehow she had it coming for daring to be different in a way that made people so uncomfortable. I watched the sheriff hold her at arm's length between phobic fingertips. His face said that the rancid stench of her sunrise-rotted flesh was the epitome of everything wrong with the world. And as I cried for my sister, my roommate had the ignorance to tell me not to take it personally. After all, people are murdered every day. Maybe if she were murdered for being a mundane, whitewashed suburbanite, people would pay attention. But it could have been me, and she was one of mine, so damn right I'm gonna take it personally. I knew a girl once who'd name all the lobsters in the tank so I couldn't eat them. Maybe, would it help you if I brought a list of victims? Dino Juansi, 28, stabbed to death and left in a roadside dump. Amanda Gonzalez, strangled. An unidentified transgender woman, body never claimed, was dismembered and mutilated. Another beheaded. Brenda burned to death. Selma drowned. And 16-month-old Roy Antonio Jones III of Southampton, New York, was beaten to death by his mother's boyfriend, who told the cops he was simply trying to make him act more like a boy instead of a little girl. How many more have to die before we wake up? Well, I am here to tell you that I have had enough. Yes, I will continue to jump down your throats every time you utter the words faggot, tranny, or that's so gay, because that is where it starts and this is where it ends. I feel the blood in my veins being changed to gasoline, and that is the righteous indignation that we need to be taking to the streets. If ever there was a time for us to stand up, it was the morning of March 8th, between the hours of 2 and 5 a.m. Markella, I am sorry. I should have been there for you. I won't let it happen again. I'm going to do another poem that I've been working on that's kind of finished, but not quite. And doesn't have a title, but whatever. A personal mantra of transformation, from victim to survivor. Pain does not equal intimacy. Intimacy does not equal pain. Sympathy does not equal love. Love does not equal sympathy. A letter to my former self. Dear Hillary, you are going to hear several times over the next few years that God can restore your virginity. In reality, restored virginity is something you're going to have to discover for yourself. Honey, I know that his arms bring healing so close you can taste it, but trust me, baby, one day his fingertips tracing your body are going to turn to dry vomit, crackling on your skin. You will heat the water to scalding and try to scrub him off with the edge of the blade you used to cut the coke. This will only leave you with more scars, but there's hope. These scars will fester and explode, giving birth to a dream, a future named Michaela, swaddled in your soon-to-be last name. She is your Messiah. She is your Savior. Love her wholly. Love her whole. Learn to kneel at her cross, but only once you've learned to love yourself. And just so you know, sometimes self-love comes in the form of male hormones injected into thigh muscles. I know that the darkness is familiar and soothing, but light itself is not your enemy. It's the one who lights the candle that is trying to destroy you. So light your own candle, baby. Don't waste your life proposing marriage to anyone who will listen to you. You don't have to fuck everyone you want to love you. But even this is not what really matters, Hillary. In your first moments on this earth, you inhaled and drew art and the incomparable magic of love into your body. Dig deep. You're going to have to drag it out, kicking and screaming, and shove the poison back up the birth canal where it came from. What really matters is you were born with blood in your veins, not cyanide. You are not a ticking time bomb waiting for the pin to accidentally slip. You were not broken. I don't care what your mother says. You don't need fixing. Hillary, you were beautiful. Long before his dick whispered the word in your ear. So these next few are not slammy types at all, but yay! I don't know, I write all over the place, and it's fun. I enjoy it. So these are more coffee shoppy, printy sorts of poems. This one is called Postmark Denver, and I want to preface it a little bit. I have not seen my birth father in almost 20 years. I'll be 22 next month, and for Christmas last year, my mom gave me a card with a single slip of paper in it, and it was his address. And this is the result of that. This is called Postmark Denver. If this is what a wrong address did, imagine if you'd actually written back and said you didn't want me. 20 years of built-up tears flow down my face as a broken-hearted cowboy sings about his long-lost love in the background, and all I can think is how this little girl just wants her daddy. So many nights I'd lay awake, wondering why you'd left me and if I'd ever see your face again. I'd remember your words and sing them to myself. If ever I'm too far, if my face should fade away, remember I'm a thought away. I'd feel that if I could only reach just far enough, I could touch you. And I'd wonder what's in those letters my mom lied about, and what else she lied about, and who are you really? And what does that make me? I wonder if you'd be proud or ashamed, and I wonder if I have strength enough to hope again. I love you too. I don't need a daddy. Fuck him. Okay. That was a big lie, but whatever. It felt good. As all good lies do. Wow, that's a poem. Okay. This is called Let's Get One Thing Straight. I'm particularly fond of this one, although it needs some work. Let's get one thing straight. You may be real, but I still don't like you. The goddess your people violated held me when you turned your back on me because I was less than perfect. And just a little PR advice. Calling your children an unnatural abomination doesn't win their devotion and only serves to fuel the loathing. The divine that flows through me doesn't condemn me to eternal torture for falling in love. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not. But supposedly, you made me to look like you, so maybe we should turn the interrogation upward. You may be real, but your voice is still a trigger, reminding me of the hell your people put me through with your blessing. And yes, I can accept you as my father God, a father figure, because after all, He left me too. The end. Huh?
No, there was more. You just shifted papers and
Oh, no. I do short poems too. I should read some of my teeny poems tonight. I haven't read those in a while. This is called Sexuality and Transsexuality. I decided that I was going to write an erotic poem, a poem about sex, and this is what happened. 1. What do you want? He whispered in my ear, voice low and thick, betraying desire. I don't want to feel like a woman when you fuck me, I whispered back. Glad now that we took the long way around, because now that we're here, I'm more than a little scared, too. Sometimes, when touching myself, I slip back into the girl part of my brain out of habit, and by that time it's too late. When I finally come to, I feel dirty, violated, repulsed by myself. I take a shower and try to scrub me off of me. There's that.
Drew, I wish that was longer.
It's in the process of being longer. I don't actually ever stop writing any of my poems.
Well, I mean, like,
So-
you know, we leave it 10 days. So, we leave it 10 days, and if...
But I feel like you've been wrong with, like, the ideas that are in that one. Like, really do something real too. Like,
That was one of those poems when I got to that stopping point and got scared and ran away.
yeah, I understand.
Like, I'm gonna not write about this anymore and just pretend it never happened. For Terry, where is for Terry? Terry, where are you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I seem to be missing the end of this poem, which is strange because I just organized everything. We see how that went. Uno momento. Oh, here it is. Just got tucked into the wrong place. This one is called For Terry, and I wrote it for a lady I met at a poetry show. Well, after. Okay. She told me that she loved me in a state of mind that was every bit as broken as 29 years of trampled eggshells. Fuck, I forgot it. Hold on. I have to look at this one. Okay. She told me that she loved me. Her state of mind was every bit as broken as 29 years of trampled eggshells, and it was only the second time I'd ever seen her. But I had no doubt that those words were the closest thing to truth that she owned. The black and white of the FBI report screamed at me from her floor, declaring her insane and spouting secrets that the rest of her sanity cursed behind closed doors. Her blood clung to its pages, like the last prayer gurgled from the throat of a drowning angel. All I could do was hold her as often as she'd let me. Her tiny body shook in my arms as if, tired of being, it wanted to tear itself apart, molecule from molecule, and disperse itself back into the cosmos with hopes of being reborn, or at least saved. My fingertips read her unwashed hair. Consciously blinding myself to the lectures building behind my eyes, I figured she'd had enough judgment. So instead, I let my body heat become the drug to satiate her strung-up desperation, if only for a moment. When she untangled her corpse from my body, the word whore ripped itself from her lips with such ferocity, I could only assume that on its way up from her stomach, it caught a glimpse of her brain and saw something there that I couldn't or wouldn't. I tried to convince her that antisocial personality disorder does not necessarily mean she's a psychopath. In return, Her patient smiled at my naivety. It looks like beautiful minds in here, except I'm not that far gone yet, she muttered, motioning to the walls, which were graffitied with obscenities in green and purple crayon. When she looked at me, I could smell her sickness, like the corpse of a kicked puppy. Washed in the rain, my mother taught me were God's tears. That smell frightened me more than the high-frequency quaking of her body had the power to. So I left with her, my therapist's name, my home phone number, email address, and a book of poetry by Sharon Olds, making her swear to keep in contact. I glanced again at the scars that platted the insides of her arms. Deep as the night the Messiah was born, and with his first human breath forgot her name. So deep I could hardly fathom how she was standing in front of me. And I knew this is the last time I would ever see her. True story. A few weeks ago, I found out she was actually arrested for trying to kill a couple people. She stabbed her ex-boyfriend and his current girlfriend, so. Huh?